Hi, welcome to the podcast. It's episode 319 of Talking Reckless. My name is Matt Eads. I'm joined by Andrew Captain.
What's up? Thanks for having me, Matt. It's good to be back for the ninth time.
Thanks for joining us for the ninth time. Andy, is it really the ninth time?
problem.
Have you been counting?
I don't know.
Oh.
Andy,
Oh,
nine
nice.
times,
Scratched
buddy.
into the
The
wall
only,
like a
the only thing
prison
I'm
count.
keeping track, the only thing I'm keeping track of these days, and don't worry, we won't talk a bunch about it, is Dragon Ball Z episodes.
That's right. You can go listen to our Dragon Ball Z Kai podcast, Super Saiyan Pod Super Saiyan. Oliver Aguilar, tell me everything you know about Super Saiyans. Except not that,
so
not,
Andy, you're watching
not that much, because we actually
watching-
can't talk about too much Dragon Ball on the show.
from the beginning.
Yeah, Kai. I just started. I've never seen it before.
Fuck yeah! What part are you at?
They just spoiler alert, everyone. They just got to the. They just beat up Frieza and blew up Namek, and now Frieza's mad, and he's coming with Daddy to blow him up on Earth.
Oh, so
Man,
you
if
know that he
they
made it through the getting cut up by the discs.
Yeah, I told you that last night.
Oh, I didn't know that you were like past it. I thought you just saw him get it. We can't do it. Super Saiyan Pod Super Saiyan
we'll
2
get
on the
into it.
way
Be careful.
soon.
like
Yeah,
as
we're
if
ready to
they
do it now.
Just beat up Frieza. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
End,
so
end of the saga.
we
That was a tough time.
we do the podcast. It's kind of sporadic. It's whenever I finish a saga and then we fire one up. So whenever Eid sets a date, keep it on his Twitter and he'll have that for you soon.
That's right. Sports fans. Brandon Lynch is here as well. I don't remember if I said. I think I did.
Yes,
Nope.
I'm always here.
Always here. He's
People
the.
know.
That's right. The workhorse of Talking Reckless. The TN of Talking Reckless.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Not even I'm getting on board with that.
He's
one.
the best character.
Let's pump the brakes here.
Six witch.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah,
It's
come
fine.
on.
Tri-beam, Neo. It's okay.
I didn't come here to be insulted.
Tags with the Juggalo.
Buddy, I'll be your shout
Brando,
to
not-
your TN.
Yes.
All
Brando and I
all
are,
Fucking
that makes it
useless
better.
one.
Oh, I always see Brando and I are Goku and Vegeta rolling up to the. Ever since I seen that meme
Beer
with
pong
the
table.
with the beer pong table,
Yeah.
it's Brando and I are Vegeta and Goku. So
This
that's
fucking
what I always see us
cross-armed,
as.
serious
Yeah.
faces.
It's
Ready
so
to rock
good.
and roll.
So
The
good to have
personality
you.
is
That's
kind
my
of matched
favorite
too.
That's my favorite
Yeah.
meme.
It's tremendous. I want that on my wall.
No, you should get that. We've also seen the Mondo Cool, which has inspired memes everywhere as well.
I'm excited
Mondo
for if they actually have softball this summer, just to crank a home run and just drop a Mondo. That's right, boys. Mondo cool.
Fuck.
Oh,
so good.
Jacked.
it's very good. Super
Just the
Saiyan
delivery.
Pod Super Saiyan is the name of our Dragon Ball Z Kai podcast. We have the first kind of up to kind of the I think we were like the beginning of the Namek saga basically up there now, and we'll get down for another episode now that Andy is onto this Android saga.
Mhm.
Real quick, Oliver, have you seen Dragon Ball Super?
No.
It's
Oh,
so
but,
good.
It's very
How do I
good.
watch it?
I'll send you a link to. I'll send you my DVDs in the mail. I mean,
Big DVD collection
Thanks,
coming your way.
yeah.
On paper.
Or
so-
we just sign up for whatever Brando signed up for because we have to do that at a point anyways. apparently.
Without really explaining too much and maybe ruining the story for Mr. Captain, how does Super sort of fit into the thing?
It's right after. It's right. We're like
Yep.
2 or 3 years after
Like-
the end of the Boo saga.
Like they sort of redacted the GT, right?
Yeah,
That-
GT
what-
doesn't.
from what I
GT is
understand?
not real. Yeah, it doesn't count.
How come? Was it bad?
Yeah, it's bad.
It was also just it was bad, but also just not canon, right? Like they
I think it was,
the-
and then after the
the
fact,
manga, but they never made the manga about GT, and then they kept the manga going past the end point of Dragon Ball Z, and they're like, well, this is now the canonical continuation.
yes, I think that
We
is
need to make
exactly
this a
what
show.
happened. I think that is exactly what happened. Yeah, it's bad. Come, you should join us.
Trunks.
You should join us on Super Saiyan Pod Super Saiyan next time, Oliver.
Trunks was always my favorite character, and then when GT came out and Trunks was like a main character, I was like, fuck yeah! And then I never ended up watching
Nice.
it because like
Cropped jackets.
Goku got turned into
Easy,
a
just watch
kid
the
again,
spoilers.
and then they
Oh yeah, GT
Baby,
spoilers are fine.
super
They don't
super
exist.
baby Vegeta is like one of the end villains apparently. I somehow found myself on the wiki. And they're like, and then they use this to defeat Super Baby Vegeta. Like, well,
In
I don't
GT?
even know what those words
yeah,
mean.
like maybe I should look in on.
Crazy.
Well, he's probably Super Vegeta, but a baby. We can't talk. That's it.
a little-
Dragon Ball
That's it.
talk over. Dragon Ball
Draw the
talk
line.
done. Finished. Come and join us for Super Saiyan Pod Super Saiyan episode 2, which we'll do soon. It's really fun to say. I can say it really fast now too. Super Saiyan Pod Super Saiyan.
That's actually a really,
From a-
really clever name. I really like that.
Clever is
It-
one
it
word for it.
emerged.
I guess.
It emerged from a cesspool of a chat between me and Matthew. We were just throwing stuff at each other.
It's a very good name though. Welcome back to the Video Game Podcast, Oliver. We haven't seen you in it's at least 8 weeks. I know it's at least Westworld. It's probably longer than that.
Gosh, it's been a long time. I mean, in those 8 weeks, probably more than 8 weeks, that I've even really played a game.
We're kind of over them. We barely even talk about those on the show anymore.
Well,
Yeah, like we have to stop ourselves from talking. It really, all this podcast is us starting to talk about video games, then talking about Dragon Ball Z, then stopping ourselves from talking about Dragon Ball Z after we've talked about it for 10 minutes, then video game news, and we're done.
Yeah.
you can tell where our true passion is.
It's what the people want. We just wait. I'm just here to fulfill a need. You know, they put the orders in and I send them out. Whatever the people. You want Dragon Ball talk? Got it. On it.
It's always been about talking to the boys for me, you know?
Yeah. It's always been about talking to the boys forever. We just have the pretense of video. We need a heading for this on iTunes so video games
vehicle.
felt appropriate.
Yes.
Excuse
I have
me.
a harder time
Go
coming
back
to
to-
do this than my actual
Go back
job.
to Machinima.
Let's not go back to Machinima.
Do it. I've never been more ready for a return to the Machinima days.
Yeah. I was role playing in Red Dead all day. I was basically making really bad Machinima.
Did you wear a hat?
Yeah, in real life or
Yeah,
my character
in real
does.
life.
No, my character has. I don't know what the name for the hat is, but it's like it looks like it's kind of made of like straw almost, but it's like it's like a top hat but smaller, and it seems like it's made of like straw. It's like yellow material. You know what I mean? Like has a band
Like
around
a
it.
woman's tea hat.
No, it's flat top. Like you'd probably see like a carnival, like
Okay.
a carny wearing it. Like step right up, step
Yeah,
right
like
up, like
a
one
barker.
of those.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he looks like a barker.
Yeah.
Trilby. The word
Cherobi?
Trilby comes
Tril-
up, but I'm not sure if
Trilby?
that's correct.
All right, everybody
And
type
you,
Trilby into your Google
The
now.
video-
No,
Never stuck on that one, eh?
a trilby is the hat that Andy wears in that picture of him that I love more than anything in the world.
I
The
thought
one
that
I
was a
framed on my
fedora.
wall. Is that?
Yeah,
Well,
that's a fedora.
is it this? If you type trilby, this first image of the trilby really looks like it.
I think you're just looking
Oh,
at a
yeah.
straw
Fedora.
top hat.
A fedora.
No,
I think it might be
trilby
a
can
type
be a fedora
of
as well too.
Fedora, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still because fedora's on here too, so they have. Yeah, they looks like they're part of the same family.
A narrow brim type
always
of
been
hat.
partial
is
to a
definitely one of
bowler.
those. Nice round bowler, yeah, hell yeah. You can a bowler. You can like hold a bowler in front of you and kind of like knead the cap when
Yeah.
when you're getting
Or,
chewed
like,
out by your
spin it.
sergeant.
Like spin it
I,
in your
uh,
hands.
Oh yeah, or
Put it
like
on your head.
yeah, whoop, whoop, whoop. That's a good one. Yeah.
No.
I might have to get one again. It's I think one might look a little sharp with a nice suit jacket. So you never know. I might bring it back. I got to get the right outfit for it though.
Hell yeah. You have such
Bowler
good hair
is like
though.
Thompson and Thompson.
And see, that's always my thing with hats is that I'm a big fan of my hair, so I have problems wearing them because it is one of my sharpest features.
It's very.
I hear ya. I absolutely hear you on that one.
We're saying this as we got the show started. We probably have in the video version of the podcast today the best hair that has ever been on this podcast in our 11 years of doing it.
Even I brought up the ratio by not showing mine.
Yeah, and I shaved my head just to really lock
Yeah,
it in,
get it
cement
all.
it here in 2019.
We're all
Holding
looking
it down,
good.
Andy.
Oh yeah.
Oliver, tell us about your
Anyways.
life. What have you been doing for the last 8 weeks? Just turning chopsticks on your lathe and hating Westworld, or
Hating Westworld for one. You guys can hear fucking eight episodes about that.
you really got
Actually,
like
I
you
I
really
only
game
really
of the
lost
year
it in the
us?
first in the last three.
You really game of the year us on that last episode.
For sure. Like,
What
I was-
happened?
I was
Doesn't even have
Give
any
me a
defense. He's like,
spoiler
yeah,
free.
I did.
I was going one way, and definitely I was going one way. I felt
Uh-huh.
a different way, and then at the very end, I just switched it.
Yeah, it was great.
And
Absolutely.
however you
just-
guys feel about, like, imagine that went like that's game of the year is actually a good
Yep.
fucking analogy for that.
arguing about a thing that I'm like, this thing
And I wasn't
sucks,
even-
and Oliver's like, I
wasn't
can't
even
believe you're
drunk.
saying that. How can you even say that? Stone Cold Sober. This is ridiculous. The words are coming out of your mouth. And we just argued back and forth because I'm like, oh, this thing sucks, thinking he's like, this thing's great. And then we get to the end of the conversation. He's like, I just feel like sucked is not a strong enough word, you know? I feel like it's truly terrible. Like, wait. What? We've agreed? This, even Amber beside you was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
It's just what
After-
Westworld
after
does
we-
to people.
After we got off air, she's like, "What the fuck was that all about? Like, you fucking just flipped it."
After
like,
I got
I
off
don't
air,
know,
I
like,
sat
I
here and
don't-
I'm like, what the fuck was that
I
all
was-
about?
Yeah, I was.
What was I even arguing for?
Yeah, for sure. Like Westworld. I don't know if you guys are watching Westworld or will be watching Westworld, but like, whew,
You don't have to. It's bad.
this third one is no good.
Yeah.
I have incredibly fond memories of the first season. I fell off during the second season on 2 separate attempts, and now I choose to just remember it as a one-season thing that I really, really like.
Yeah, that would be
For
the
sure.
best way to do it.
Yeah, we've agreed amongst the three of us, Amber, Matt, and I, that like season 1 was like I mean that's not
on
even.
us, Oj.
Oh shit! Yeah, because I'm playing with it. Mute me.
Oh. Okay, give me a sec. You gotta give me a little bit of time to respond. You good? Okay. Don't touch your cable. Oh, you're unplugged. Okay, yeah. Okay, you're unplugged. All right, do it. Every week. Every week. Okay? Okay, don't touch it. But say something so we know that you're back. God damn it.
Is he yelling? Is he
Between
yelling or is
between you and JR, this fucking doing shit at home has taken so many years off my life. So many
Season one of Westworld is an absolute masterpiece, and you
Right
should
back
definitely
into it.
stop at that.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
good.
And aside from hating Westworld, I've been trying to play through Final Fantasy, and it was a really strong start, and I really like that game. It's just like I don't know what it is. It's just like I can't
I know what
really
it is.
buckle down and sit down and like play through a game anymore.
Oh, just a game, not Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 7, not that fun. Really fun to watch. The actual playing, the doing the combat really sucks. Just turn that thing to easy. Just get through it. Don't even worry about it. The playing part of Final Fantasy 7, it's not very good. It's not very good.
Yeah, it's it's very it's the same cycle over and over.
And it's a
Like, I'm sure you guys
it's a
talked
bad
about-
cycle too. I really don't enjoy
Yeah.
that combat loop at all. At all.
You know what I enjoy doing? Playing video games. And here I am being told not to play a video game. The fuck do I want this game for then?
Do you like
It's
pretty dresses?
Yeah.
it's a very good game, and it looks
gonna love
great.
it.
And
What do you think I'm wearing?
Andy, Andy, does the original hold any value to you?
Oh, I haven't played any of them, so this would have been my first experience. But I'm a fan
Yeah.
of like the whole watching the videos of it and seeing other people play it. The combat system looked cool, and that's what I want out of that game, right? Like I like a good RPG with a nice, sexy combat system, not just a bunch of girls in
legit.
sexy dresses. I need some gameplay.
It's not just girls in sexy dresses. It's very
dudes
equal
too? All right,
opportunists
I'm in
with its
then.
sexy dresses, and
All right,
let
then.
me tell
I
you,
guess-
some
I
of
guess-
them pretty sexy.
I guess I'll
and
give it a
I mean,
shot.
Cloud
then.
Cloud can be very androgynous at some point.
Like
So
all good Final
what-
Fantasies, yes.
Exactly.
Why did you ever really, Eads? Did you ever kind of delve a little bit deeper into your issues with the combat system? Like, is there anybody out there that's actually saying that they really liked it, or is
I'm sure
it kind
there
of
is.
across the board? Yeah, or is it more so that a lot of feedback from people is that it's not very good?
I don't really. Boy, this sounds arrogant. As a opinion maker, I just kind of throw my opinion out into the world and just play a game. Like I didn't go back to be like, do people
So I love
agree
you.
with my opinion or not? I did, fuck it. Here's my opinion. Take it or leave it. So I have no idea. I know Kevin really doesn't like it. But I also
he
know,
doesn't, eh?
I also know how Kevin plays a lot of video games. I'm sure there are people who like it. I'm
It's
sure there's people who like it. There's people who really like Fallen Jedi Order, and I think that combat is not all it's cracked up to be either.
Okay, I just
I
wasn't
think
sure if this
it's-
was something that just seems to be an issue for a lot of people, where it just didn't hold up, or what the deal was. So
I'll give it a bing. I'll
I
find
think
it right now.
it's D's, and they do a lot of things to kind of like switch it up and kind of add layers to it. But even like the layers that they do add are kind of shallow, right? They have this. It's called the materia system, where you can kind of add magic to your repertoire, or you can add like counterattacks, or you can add like fucking, I don't know, Matt, like
All
buffs
sorts.
and debuffs and
Yeah, the
all
ability to
sorts of stuff.
heal, like all your spells go in materias, and everything in the
Yeah,
game
and
is like kind of a materia almost.
in between, yeah, the three characters that you have, you can easily change that up. But from what I found, and Matt, you could probably agree to this, that your AI controlled characters just don't do shit.
Yeah, they just fucking stand there, and like there's obvious things that they're like attacks where like you have to get behind a thing in the environment to dodge them, where it's like this thing's gonna explode, hide behind the box or whatever. They'll just stand there and take the kills, like take the hit and die, and the AI is so fucking frustrating when you're barely getting through a combat. You're like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna make this, and then you see Tifa is just over there doing literally nothing. You're like, well, maybe if anyone did anything, it's
That's it being a remake of an older game, though, because I think over the past few years, those AIs in games like that have gotten a lot better to the point where they'll actually do something where you're like, oh, hey, you weren't shit. You weren't Slippy and Star Fox. You actually got in there and helped me out in some sort of a way. So maybe since it's a remake of the old game, then they still kind of had that kind of old school, oh, they're kind of
Seems
just weapon fodder.
it's
such a new thing, though,
yeah.
right? Like it's a brand new video game
it's kind of a
to the point that
sequel.
like, they're really
almost to
only
that first
taking-
one in a way.
they're just taking really story beats, right, and kind of building around those
Yeah.
characters. But it's, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think the AI has any excuse to be bad. I think everything you tell me about this game from a combat point of view just makes me think of Kingdom Hearts.
It is so
which
much
is-
Kingdom Hearts. Oh my god, it is 10,000% the Kingdom Hearts combat, except block is on a button instead of like timing your attack at the same time.
which I played through those games, and like the combat was definitely not great, but it was not like I could get through it in a way that I think I'll have no problem getting through Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
So I'm
I couldn't
excited.
I couldn't make it
am
through Kingdom
excited,
Hearts
like,
2, so that totally like lines up. That totally checks out. I made it to
Yeah.
Jafar in Kingdom Hearts 2 and decided it was the worst game I could. I'm never again. Never again.
You got to get up on the Cave of Wonders.
Genie Jafar, or no, maybe Ursula. I think it might have been Ursula. I don't know. I had to fly around. I think it was huge Genie Jafar. I definitely did the Cave of Wonders one. It was you come back. You know that you have to like go back through all the fucking super fun worlds you went through, and do them again. I remember on the way back. Man, fuck Kingdom Hearts. I hate it. Also, the creator of Kingdom Hearts, Nomura, made Final Fantasy VII Remake, and holy fucking shit, can you tell in some spots where you're like, what is happening in this story? And then you're like, oh, okay. If you think about it like how Kingdom Hearts is, where sometimes the answer is, it's just Kingdom Hearts, man. It's hard to talk around. It is not a remake of that. It is not a one-to-one remake of the main game. They are...
No.
A lot of people kind of call it a sequel, which is not. You don't have to play that first game to get the context. They give you the context. It's like new Star Trek almost, where they made new Star Trek and they were referencing old shit that you had maybe never seen, but they still explain it in a well enough way that you're like, okay, I don't know who original Kirk is or whatever, but I can pick up just through context. I sort of get it. Totally the same thing. Where I don't think you have to. You do not have to play that original to play and enjoy.
No. I don't. I agree, and that's a very good analogy too, because like the new Star Trek is very cool. It has like cool young actors that, hey, yeah, Chris Pine is a cool dude and totally can pull off this brash captain, and that's neat. But also like they reference a bunch of shit that you don't necessarily need to know about.
No, not at all.
Did
There was,
Shatner
like,
ever end up in any of those?
who?
Shatner?
In any of the new Star Treks?
No, he didn't
Yeah,
actually.
like
No, I don't think so.
in a similar, maybe new Spock, old Spock kind of way.
No, I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
I don't know if Shatner.
I wonder why that.
I think isn't Shatner. Didn't like Shatner have some things going on where maybe the like relationship to him and Star Trek and actors he's worked with and stuff. Maybe I don't really know shit about Shatner. I think he's a nightmare to work with. I think he's a fucking nightmare to work with, in a way that it kind of always made sense.
You ever hear that that audio recording of him getting pissed at the producer in a studio who he's trying to record a commercial with?
Nope.
It's like
No.
fucking getting mad at him. Like, Buddy asked him to redo a line. He's like, "Why would I redo this line? That was fine." Well, we just kind of need a couple extra. That line was fine. I don't think I need to redo that line. It sounded just fine on my end. We don't need to redo this. Like, he was just like totally shutting down this producer who just wanted like another take of a line, so he had more than one option to work with because he's probably gonna fuck off and then he won't get him back in the studio. So you want backup things. But yeah, he like was just laying into this producer in a super dick way.
Coming from a news gentleman, I can say there's just a fine chance that he was not recording at the time that he did the first line.
You've been there.
I don't really like where you went with that one. Why don't you try another one? Why would I do that? Well, you gotta fucking do it. I did that to Daryl McIntyre once.
And then he retired. You fucking ruined
Yeah,
him.
you fucking
retired
pushed
me.
over the edge.
GTFO. I don't need
Never
fucking
in my
young punk
37
cameraman.
years have I been asked for a fucking retake. Put his retired
time for
notice
me
in
to
the next
hang.
day.
Time for me to hang up this suit.
No.
The day when the cameraman tells me to do another take is the day I fucking retire.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Just walked out of the studio. Didn't even do another take.
So what
walked
is it?
away.
What is it about Final Fantasy VII, Oliver? That's not pulling you through here.
It's not Final Fantasy VII. It's an incredible game. It takes me back to when I first played it, and you know how when these remakes come, or you know how when games get like sort of brought back, and then it's like, I totally remember this differently, kind of thing, or hey, this game totally doesn't hold up. Final
does not have
Fantasy
the same
VII is
experience.
absolutely. No, Final Fantasy is absolutely the way I remember Final Fantasy in my head. Like, fucking high fidelity graphics, and fucking Cloud is the coolest fucking dude. And so is Sephiroth, and yeah, Tifa has always been a banger, and now she's an incredible banger.
There's like a whole chapter of that game. A whole plot is about how sexy Tifa is. There's a whole 10-hour section about how Tifa stays so fit and all this.
It's honestly because what was that saying that we used to throw around? Like, I don't know if games are really my thing anymore. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because
You grew up.
like maybe, but it's just like Spider-Man was really good. Red Dead was incredible. What was that one game that I thought fucking Death Stranding.
You have no one
It's
to
just
blame
a piece of shit.
but Hideo and ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got back into it with Final Fantasy, and I'm like, yes, this is fucking awesome. It's just like, wow, I would much rather go bike riding. I'd much rather do other things than play video games, which is a bummer,
What's happening?
right?
Imagine if Death Stranding came out like today.
It would
I
hit
wonder
very
how it would be
differently.
viewed.
Going
Yeah.
through it, I think we would all be like, "Oh my god, this is what a profit! I can't
It's
believe."
coming.
Oh my goodness!
Yes,
And then
this is
Princess
topical.
Beach happens, and then we still all eject our discs and go, "Never mind, never got us."
Yeah, yeah.
Princess Beach.
Matt, you keep saying that I should definitely play
You should definitely play.
Death Stranding at this point,
Yeah,
and I'm ready to give it another shot.
you should get it done. You should get it done.
Were you
Get
like
some-
you were over halfway done, weren't you?
Get some podcasts. Get
No,
some
I wasn't.
some
I wasn't
things.
close at all.
You could probably turn a
didn't meet
chopstick while
Heartman?
you're fucking going A to B. This is me turning a
Sorry?
chopstick.
You didn't meet Heartman. You weren't in the mountains yet.
You would
I thought I
definitely
remembered
remember
you
Heartman. You would definitely remember Heartman.
Port City. I was in a port city. I believe it was probably
Ooh, that
called
is-
Port City because of the
Port-
fucking imagination of that game.
Port not city,
Yeah.
sir. They're not. That one is a port. It's
Oh
port
yeah, they're
not.
not. Sorry.
Hello.
They tie us together.
Yeah, you're not very. I think it was like beginning of chapter 3. Do you like didn't even get into the mountains and stuff, eh?
No, and God forbid that that's fucking fun at all, right?
It's kind of
'Cause
fun.
even-
It's actually kind of the best part of
It
the
might
game.
be
I
the
think.
only fun part of the game,
Yeah.
but
oh yeah, because that's where with the zip lines that you guys
the zip lines,
were talking about, right?
start your zip line network.
Yeah, getting over some of that stuff the
Andy,
first
did
time
you-
is really fun.
Andy, did you play Death Stranding? Do you hold
I
Hideo
imagine
Kojima and Metal Gear in any sort of
Not as
That is
high
not-
as not as high as most people on the planet. I played Metal Gear Solid 3 and then also 5, and really liked both those games.
Big
And
Boss
really enjoyed
Saga.
Good
5.
one.
You just
Really,
missed,
really
just missed
liked.
Peace
I
Walker.
guess.
Yeah, shit.
Really missed. Really missed. What? Really enjoy 5 because I didn't have any sort of attachment to hating the story, so I just thoroughly enjoyed that game. So, yeah, I don't.
Because that game
Yeah, I
fucking plays incredibly.
Yeah, it's tight, awesome. I like. Fuck. But yeah, otherwise, no, yeah, whatever.
It's got a
wasn't.
horse that
When
can
I
I
heard
think about
when I heard Death Stranding was bad, I was like, okay, whatever. Guess I won't play it.
I think about Death Stranding, like Andy playing Death Stranding. Like, what if you took Red Dead Redemption 2 and took literally everything that Andy would like about that game out of it, and just left the rest, just the bad stuff that Andy hated? I think that is what Death Stranding is.
But like,
Yeah.
not. It's
Okay,
not like
I won't
just
play it then.
the omission of good stuff. It's some of the writing in Death
Just a-
Stranding is literally the worst writing I've ever heard in anything ever. Ever.
I think
Video
I'm getting
games,
close to-
movies.
Just like the changing seasons, I feel like I'm getting close to coming around the other side on Princess Beach
Stop
in a
it.
positive way.
Stop it.
And
They
only
say
time
it
will fix that.
twice. Fuck. They let it breathe for like a minute, and then she hits you with it again, just in case you missed the joke.
You might have missed it. If you would have missed it, there was no reason to play that game.
It really brings to light how far up his own ass he is with the writing on that game. When you don't have a solid cast of characters that you kind of care about, that have been around for like 25 years, that you kind of care about, and kind of like, hey, yeah, fucking Solid Snake is super cool. So is Big Boss, and so is the Boss. Like it really shows how far up his own ass he is when he writes that
These
type
are-
of shit.
These are all
Real car?
things that. That's a real car. These are all things that, like we said when this game first came out, where it's like, I feel like these are all things that we knew about Hideo Kojima, but we just said them with a positive inflection in our voices until this game.
Yeah. Oh, he's
Like, wow,
so
he
far
throw
up his
up his
own
nose.
ass. I can't believe he could do that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my question is, Hideo doesn't speak English, doesn't write English either, I would assume. Like speaks a bare, but does not fluently. So and like I can't imagine. I don't know anything in Japanese, but I can't imagine that the Princess Beach pun plays in Japanese quite the way it does in English. So Hideo alone is probably not responsible for that. Someone who translated that script. I don't know if Kojima himself wrote the words Princess Beach, but if we gotta hold somebody.
Kojima probably had a banger of a line there, and someone else is like, no, I got a good one. Translator's like, no, Princess Beach will play in fucking America.
Check this shit out.
They'll love
Yeah.
this shit.
He just dead-eyed,
Yeah.
completely like deadpan to Hideo, Princess Beach, and Hideo just fucking cracked, just lost his fucking shit. He's like, oh,
Yep.
I'll put it in a second time. He loved it so much.
No.
Princess Beach. Fuck. It's very bad. It's like, it's very bad. It's very bad. Yeah, you should probably just finish.
I just
it, though.
feel like, I mean, it's like I said, like Solid Snake and that whole Metal Gear canon storyline had like 25 years to kind of just build itself up.
Mhm.
And it went from like an espionage, like a military thing, to whatever the fuck it is right now. But at least by the time like 4 rolled around, like it earned its own up assness, whatever
Well
I'm
said.
trying to say here.
I'm with you.
I
But
wonder.
like, whereas like Norman Reedus, Sam Porter Bridges, and like
He's pretty good.
Sure,
It's a pretty
and
good
Troy
performance.
Baker is always good, but I mean,
Particle
like
of God.
these characters, yeah. What's his name?
Higgs, because he's the
Higgs.
Higgs boson.
Yep. And then Hardman and
Yep.
Hartman.
Not to be confused with Hartman. That's right.
They just
Those are
just
both
kind of like
characters in a
go on
video
their
game.
own. They just go on their own monologues with the shit that they feel is like impactful, or he feels impactful, and then it's just like, who are these people?
I mean, on the other hand, it's Ocelot being like, here's the history of nuclear weapons in the United States for the last 75 years.
But
And
that's
you're
the
like,
thing,
okay.
though.
More than enough.
We've seen Ocelot through the
Mr.
years, and it's like,
President.
yeah, fucking Ocelot. Yeah, you were
No,
up to
what
some
do you,
shit.
So I want to play devil's advocate here. We see him through the years, and like, you know, in game 1 he's like, Snake, hello, and then in game 2 he's like, it's me, Snake. My accent's I'm a different person. Which is
he's fucking
fucked,
Liquid Snake.
because he's being controlled by the arm, and then you meet him again, and he's like, I'm still controlled, but I'm back to the old voice. Ha cha 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 cha. Like, if you're into
Yeah.
that, sure.
Yeah.
If you're not,
Greatest
that you're like,
story ever
what the
told.
shit is fucking happening? This is. And then in 3, he's like the kid
that's-
who's like,
that's the thing.
and doing all that shit, and like, oh, it's
That's
all
the thing.
bad. It's all terrible.
I gave him the pass for that because of all the shit that I liked. But unfortunately, like, I don't know die hard man from my ass in the wall, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck about this character.
From, I can't even.
A hole in the wall.
No.
But I changed it to my ass in the wall.
Oh, on us.
other than selling on video games, I've been doing a lot of biking.
Okay.
now that
You know, there are
the
video games
weather's
about
really
biking.
nice. Trials Evolution. I really
Trials.
like that game.
Yeah.
BMXing, that's only hopping a skip away from skateboarding.
And I've been doing a lot of woodworking, you guys. Like, my old man hobby is fucking woodworking, and it's fucking dope.
Woodworking's awesome. That was my
Yeah,
childhood dream. I was
totally.
gonna be a carpenter.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
not
my
too
first
late.
ever job. No, I'm making bank now, so fuck. I don't want to go backwards. My first ever job as a child was building and selling sheds. I started up my
Oh, wow.
own business. They don't laugh; those things fucking sold. If I was a little
Oh,
more
I bet.
motivated, I could have made some dough. But yeah, I would all summer. I would just fucking parents would go to work, and it was great. I'd fucking wake up, make a fucking massive jug of iced tea, huge. Put it in one of those big blue coolers that had the big spout on the top, and you just flicker up, and I'd have like 4 liters of it. Head up to the top of a hill at my place, get all my tools, lay them out, crank that satellite radio, Hair Nation, fucking Bon Jovi, Motley Crue all fucking day, building sheds, boys. It was great. I loved it.
Like, people would be like, hey, young Andy, why don't you take your blue cooler of iced tea and build me a shed, right? Like, you were
Well, I
just
do have our-
building sheds so that the passerby would be like, hey, Andy, that looks fucking
No,
cool.
no, no, no.
Why don't
Yeah,
you
on
build
the
me one in my
highway, it's
yard?
like, oh shit, are those sheds? Like,
And like, I mean, it was, I grew up in a small town in like a farming community, right? So everybody knows everybody, and it would just be like, oh, you need a shed? Fucking farmer's son will build you one. That was my dad's name was Farmer, which was weird because everybody was farmers. And then I would just build sheds for people.
Neat.
fucking minty,
So-
somebody in the chat says. Yeah, that's the perfect way to describe that. Some fucking
Yeah, it was
minty
sick.
sheds, bud.
Great way of fixing a roof that you didn't measure properly and didn't fit the way it's supposed to is to find the cracks and put yellow spray foam in them and then saw it off. And nobody knows any different.
Yeah, a little paint. No one's ever gonna
Yeah.
know. Fucking-
Seals it right up.
Yep. It's probably more
Paint. I wasn't
waterproof that way.
I wasn't painting the sheds. Fuck that.
Oh,
They can
you gotta-
paint them. I was
You
just
don't even
selling.
you don't even
Look like
cover
a
your
fucking
mistakes.
little rascal.
You've never had
I-
you've never had like a screwdriver slip and you take the white paint off something on a wall and you're like, oh fuck, and you take your whiteout pen and you just like white it back in. You're like,
Oh yeah, no.
we're-
Never had that.
Okay,
In
well,
this
good.
in this day and age, you just use ramen, so that's what you fucking fix any cracks with, right?
I feel like I'm
What?
missing out on the what? Like the noodles?
You never seen those videos? Have you seen those?
There was a whole thing where people would use like the packaged ramen to fix sinks, countertops.
Does it like make a cement?
Fucking,
so
I don't know, auto
Yeah.
body
Are they
work.
like eating
fucking-
it and then like flexing fly and doing something
No, you just
that would actually work?
No, you bust it up and then they add a bunch of glue and stuff to it, and essentially it's just essentially just a bus to hold whatever glues and stuff you're using. But
Yeah.
they would just keep like pasting on glue and ramen, and then you'd like sand it and chip away at it and pack it in. And
It
yeah,
kinda makes
there's a lot
sense.
of like I've seen people fix like hammers and wrenches and stuff. I'm sure you can't use the hammers after, but just watching people take something broken, And then they grab this ramen. You're like, there's no fucking way that they're going to make that look like it used to. And then they put it all back together and make it very convincing that it was never broken in the first place. You're like, huh, shit.
Yeah.
All right, then.
And then you just
So,
put the hammer back on the shelf and wait for
and
one other fucker
Someone
to break
use it, and the thing explodes in his face.
yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that was what I did growing up. Building sheds. It was pretty dope. Smart kid.
That's neat. What town did you grow up in?
In a lovely little community called Lindale.
I don't
It's
even
by
know where
Breton,
that is.
if you know
Is
where
that
Breton is.
Is that in Alberta?
It's like, yep, it's hour southwest of Edmonton, so a little ways out.
Wow.
Lindale sounds like
community.
somewhere with a princess.
With a what?
A princess and probably a curse.
Yeah,
I wish.
it's where the D&D
That would've been dope.
group is on their way
Yeah,
to
we're-
Lindale.
We're
That
gonna
would
go
have been
there.
dope if that was the case.
Down
And-
through the depths and
and-
into Lindale.
Other than that, I've been playing a lot of D&D with Matt week to week, which
We
is
play a lot.
probably my favorite game right now. Which
When's
is
your
a great game.
when's that second game that we're loosely? When's your game gonna start? When's
I was ready
Reckless
for it,
Rolling
but then-
gonna?
Well, I was ready for a different game a couple weeks ago, and then a couple people decided to bail, and so we weren't able to pull that off. But that was going to be fun.
Was someone hungover that morning? Somebody a little hungover? Not you.
I don't know.
Somebody else?
Maybe Kevin was.
No.
No.
Amber. When Amber heard that Kevin was bailing out, she's like, "Okay, I'm bailing out too." I'm like, what the
Oh,
fuck?
that's what I want. We could have done it if Amber was there. I was like, oh, she hungry? She me. I know she likes to get a little drunk on Saturdays from time to time. Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
I know that the three of us, you, me, and Max, probably would have made something really fun. But yeah, like sure, whatever.
as soon as she
We'll save
bailed.
it for another time.
What about your Dean? You should. We'll talk more, but you should start a second game. I would like to play some D&D
I know,
and
I
not
know.
make D&D
I know.
all the time. I mean, it's very fun and
don't know
rewarding,
about-
but man, it'd be nice to be on the other side.
I don't want to do D&D though. I want to do a different game.
Yeah, sure. Let's do a different
That
game.
dumb
Sure.
wrestling
Man.
one we did.
Let's do that dumb wrestling one.
No,
Let's not do that one.
That dumb wrestling one was dumb. But
Yeah, there's lots of
thanks for
games.
putting up with that
There's
at
lots of
one
other
point,
systems.
Brando.
We should do something in the West. We should do a Western thing.
For sure. And there's one called Deadlands, which I'm absolutely all about. I have the manual right here.
Are those undead Westerners?
Yep. See, I'm
Zombie
like
Got a
halfway
manual
through.
right there in front
That's
of him,
a-
within arm's reach.
Big book. Holy shit.
Yep. But man, like fucking being a DM is something else. Like you got to put on some time.
Yeah, I don't know. I make a lot of it up as I go, and then it's bad that we podcast it now because people can call me out of my shit, and they're like, I don't know if that rules the way that you did it there.
You know what?
I'm like, oh shit.
Suck my dick.
I always pretend. I'm always like, oh. Sometimes I know. Sometimes I'll like run it wrong, and immediately as I'm doing it, I'm like, fuck, this is wrong. But whatever.
You know what?
I've said it. We just got to do it now.
You should not be beholden to the rules, I think. And
I'm not. Don't worry.
Good. And I feel like as long as the group is having fun, I feel like that's the key to it.
Yes. Here. That's
And-
right.
And like rules be damned. And I know like there's a couple people on our chat that are always watching, and I know that they play, and I know they're a little stickler for rules or whatever. But I mean as long as we're having fun, it doesn't matter. Come on, we're just playing a game.
It's a totally different way to play. Some people like to play and like really use the systems and make like, I got this overpowered or this very powerful character, yada yada yada. And some people like to have fun and not do that. No, it's a shitty way. Some people like to focus on the role playing and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
And I mean, with the group that we have, we're like we're just bumbling about. And of course, like yes, if we're gonna be hard for the rules, like we're gonna die, 100%. We're gonna die, and it's a miracle. It's a literal goddamn miracle that we've made it and not have died right now.
We ran something wrong on Sunday that a character should have died on Sunday. I made a rules mistake.
What happened?
This is very cursory. Our blood hunter should not. She fell from a very high height and took damage.
Yep.
She has an ability that she takes less damage from bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, the 3 types of damage, from weapon attacks, from attacks, not from falling. So she would have taken a bunch more damage, and she would have died, because everybody was like, it was like 1 more damage either way, and that party was fucking wiping. Or at least a few people were dying, and yeah, she would have died. But I made the mistake. Made the mistake in the game. Didn't find out until the DM's guild.
It doesn't matter.
When someone
doesn't
was
matter.
like,
we had
right.
fun, and there was a lot of like suspense at the very end there. So
Yeah,
there
it's
you go. You did your job. Again, rules be damned.
come and join us on Sundays for Rolling Reckless. We do it live every week. Or you can find it on YouTube. Just look up Rolling Reckless. And whatever Oliver's game is going to be, I'm going to keep pounding until we do it. Coming soon. We might be back in the studio next week.
Cowboys versus Mechs.
Yes! I want to be... I'll play either team. That sounds fun.
I don't know if you can do that, can you?
Why not, Andy?
Yeah, of course you can.
These goddamn
Optimus
mechs are
Gunslinger.
coming to take our cattle, Andy. The
I wanna be a
methane
cowboy.
powers
Can I
the
be a cowboy?
mechs.
You don't want
Yeah,
that
come
to
play. I
happen.
want to play. I want to be a cowboy.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Come play with us.
Sure. Yeah. Always open.
Hell yes. To the D&D podcast
know.
as well. I told you I'll teach you how to play D&D. It'll be real easy. We sit down one afternoon, teach you how to play. More than
I know.
welcome.
I gotta figure it out. I'd be down
More than
because I
welcome.
had it. Yeah, I've always been curious to give it a shot. So
Yeah. Come on over.
Brando's an old pro. He's like the retired vet that just every now and again, once every 10 years, comes off the bench and goes, oh, is that Shea Fiddle
doesn't
fingers?
doesn't
Yeah, he gives us the
doesn't
rub.
line up with the man's timeline.
Yeah.
My my lore Bible for Shay gets like 2 inches bigger every week, and I'm not even playing. I'm just fucking working on that on my own.
Some say Brandon Lynch is the character and Shay the real individual.
That's right.
The real person.
What is the mask?
Right.
Sundays, that happens. Come and join us. It's very fun. We're going to have a good session this Sunday, too. And maybe back in the studio soon. Oh, that'd be dope. Maybe even for this very podcast. This Talking Reckless podcast. Back in the studio soon would also be dope. We'll see. Things are opening up here.
Yeah, totally.
Things are opening up here.
That's
On the other side of that, I feel like we've really broken the ice doing these internet podcasts. So if we have to do an internet podcast again, at least we kind of have it figured out. Andy has ASL up there for
Yeah,
our,
it's not terrible, hey?
our audience online.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't know what I was going to say. There's something about I like doing these because then I don't have to drive for 40 minutes, so I'm not complaining. But the
I
audio
know.
would be better in the studio. So
I mean, you have to drive for an hour and 10 minutes all in.
It's very
to
far.
get to Eats's. Oh yeah, all in. Yeah.
To get to Kev's, yeah.
People put a lot of time in. People
Yeah.
volunteer a lot of time for the old podcast.
The West End team definitely has to travel.
Yeah. It's just better, you know. It's better. Anybody can, and everybody does, hop into a Skype call like we do. This is not a Skype call, but hops in and puts their bad takes on the internet. At least if we sound really crisp on those mics. I bought new mics and then never got to use them. They're just sitting here in boxes still. At least our bad takes maybe carry a little farther. I don't know. We'll get back.
our takes are dope.
We gotta get back in that
Talk about-
studio, gentlemen. Spend way too much time and money down there to burn
Agreed.
that thing
I'll
down
get there.
now.
We'll get there. Do I have a TV on? What's up with this lighting?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
your
you got
camera
something
gain
going on.
is auto adjusting. Looks
It's
like.
the crows
on
flying in
YouTube.
front of the sun. Hey, fuck off, crows! There we go. They'll leave now. They keep like flying in front of the window. I don't know why.
Like completely darkens out, like so just a giant
it's an
shadow of a
omen.
crow,
Fucking
covers the
Spruce
sun,
Grove Crow.
and like it's like the sound on the TV
Fuck.
suddenly inexplicably gets quieter, and it's like, hey, fuck off, crows, and then it just flies away, and everything's good.
They're big out here. They're massive.
Odin
in
is
Old
with
Spruce
us.
Grove. It's literally a problem
Wings
every
of
single
evil
day.
Over Lindale.
I've taken days off of work because I got to deal with the crows.
the
The
crows
TV isn't
do
on,
that.
so I don't. TV's not on, so I don't know what's up with the light. But anyways, this is an audio podcast, not a podcast to talk about my bad lighting. So
Exactly. Anything else,
I'm
Oj?
sitting here in the dark.
Video game?
Nope.
No video games. Woodworking. Lots of
Yeah,
role playing games.
I got a lathe.
Yeah.
Matt,
they're so
remember the time
dangerous,
when you
dude.
came over and we were watching like lathe videos and you were
Yeah.
just freaking because you
Remember
like,
when
you were
remember
afraid
when
for
Max
me?
came from out of town and the thing he only comes up like once every few years and the thing we decided to do was watch lathe videos at your house, Oliver, about like I'm turning
Hey, we had
this
some-
I'm turning this wood resin ball.
Anyways, I finally got the lathe working and it's fucking dope. And
It's
so,
so
fun and, like,
dangerous.
it's not that dangerous. There's
It's
a lot
so
to give
fucking
to it.
dangerous.
There's a lot to give to it.
Yeah, it's probably what everybody says before their hand gets just degloved, skin gone.
I want to come in woodwork now, talking all about this. OJ, you know, I went
Andy.
when I was in high school. I went to provincials for woodworking when they do the Alberta Tradesman
That's not a
Alberta
thing.
Trades competition.
Skills.
No,
yeah,
that is
skills.
absolutely a thing.
They're called
Yeah,
skills.
the Alberta Skills Comp. Yeah, that's right too. I went to Red Deer for 1 year to compete in woodworking, and I built a bench. I think I placed 5th.
Wow.
I fucked up on some measurements in the back. The backing on it was like so. Like the back of the bench was tilted a little bit this way. I don't know where I fucked up, but it's no different than like when you're watching people go on like MasterChef or something like that. They can be really good cooks at home, but then once that timer kicks in, you're like, fuck. Like I had never experienced anything like that in my life. I thought I was gonna go in there and be like, fuck, I got this, you fucking simps. I'm gonna take this home, and then I fucking fired it up, and my God, as soon as that clock got going, I couldn't.
Can
handle
you,
it.
sir? We were gonna call Warren later and find out if that was allowed. I don't think that's a thing you can say.
That's so funny.
As soon as
had
that clock got going, yeah, I couldn't. I realized I was the chump there.
Brando, that is absolutely a thing because I had a electrical apprentice that actually went to like nationals with these skills competitions. That kid was a fucking loser, though.
Are you just like, I got the perfect loops? I stripped exactly 1 1/4 inch. Perfect.
I honestly have no idea.
Daintily turning.
That's exactly what it is, though. Like they just give you a task, whatever it would be. If it would be electrical work, you probably just have to wire a light bulb to it and to a switch, and then maybe like some outlets. And yeah, it comes down to the actual like how that fine detailed craftsmanship looks. It's super nerdy, but also kind of
Not
cool.
since you told me there was 6-man football have I been so shocked at some small town time.
This isn't small town though. This was provincials, and the thing with woodworking though, compared to some of the other ones, was at least like I was building a bench, so it was kind of like something that looked cool to an extent. It wasn't just. All right, let's see if you can change the tires on this car, because they have mechanics and everything, right? So there's just some trades that
every ticketed trade, I think.
Yeah, so there's a lot of them where there isn't. It's not like you get something impressive to show off. Whereas like for mine, that bench is sitting in the gazebo back at my parents' house on the farm in Lindale. That I built the gazebo, and it's badass to see that bench. I have a memory from it, right? Yeah, well, that's the princess is actually, you find her in the gazebo. It's pretty cool, actually, if you go on the whole quest.
All of it hidden in a giant bespoke shed.
No. Gazebo. You start in a shed as the hero.
Shed that gets smaller the further you walk into it.
Yeah. Oh! Andy.
That would have won me the skills competition if I could have built that.
It's actually a hallway that just gets way smaller.
What's happened?
Yeah. Doesn't even look that big from the outside. Like, what the fuck did this guy do?
Back out.
It's like that bit from The Simpsons where he gets to the end and just opens it so his eye can see through. Andy, what have you been up to?
I'm playing some video games.
Oh?
Yeah, I have some games. I will say, hearing OJ talk about like other things in his life are taking over, I am sitting here thinking, yeah, I'm starting to have that problem now too. That summer's kind of kicking into gear because I just want to get out and do stuff in the sunshine. But I have been playing some new stuff. I did fire up Ori and the Will of the Wisps finally. I actually hadn't finished the first Ori yet, so I was like, yeah, I got to get the first Ori done. I didn't wrap it up. Sat down. I was literally an hour and a half away from finishing the first Ori. Another game must have gotten in my way or something that prevented me from getting it done. But I sat down, finished that up, and that was all fine and dandy. Sorry, I'm having a couple of beers. I got some burps here. So I was actually okay with that because then I kind of got to see the ending as well too, where Brando was saying he forgot quite a bit of the first Ori. So it was kind of neat to go back and play a little bit of it and get the. Huh?
I said nearly all of it. I forgot.
Oh, okay.
Like literally when you finished the first one, I asked you like 5 questions. I was like, so there's like an owl, right? And he was a good guy, but we thought he was a bad guy. And
yeah, so I got to see the ending, which was really good because the second Ori basically takes place. It just builds off of the ending of that first one. The baby owl hatches. That was like the offspring of the really bad owl in that game. And Brando's went through all this on a previous podcast, but that's really where the connection is. So, and then the owl's trying to fix his wing, and then Buddy fixes it with a feather. They fly off, Ori and the owl, and then they crash land in some mysterious place, and then that's where our story begins. So I just started diving into it. It's an absolutely stunning game. Like, as I'm playing it, I just cannot get over the visuals in that game. Like, I don't think I've ever I can't think of another game that's a side scroller that looks as good as that game does. It's phenomenal, and the sounds and the music, oh, it's incredible. So I've been enjoying that. The combat feels really good in it, and they've changed enough to the point where it doesn't feel like a different game, but everything feels so fresh, and it does feel like they made it better in some ways that I'm really excited to play through it. Like, I love that it's a sword now. The whole orb thing of the orb shooting at guys was a real cool new mechanic in the first one, but I'm glad that they didn't do it again, and they kind of went with a different direction with the sword. And then you get kind of secondary items like a bow and arrow and different things like that, and those are pretty dope too. So yeah, I'm really liking it. I like what they did with the changes.
I thought they did a really good job of like giving you a really fun, interesting starting weapon, but then making all the like upgradable things. Like every time I like looked at an upgrade I could get, I was like, oh fuck, this is dope too. Oh fuck, I don't have enough slots to be able to use all these. This sucks. Oh, look at this one's even better. Like it was so many different attacks where I'm like, oh, this is so useful. I could just beat the game with this.
It and you kind of said this too, Brando. It looks it honestly, they must have taken a page out of Hollow Knight's book, because a lot of the stuff that they did in Hollow Knight, when it comes to like, you can get different badges and you have different badge slots that will upgrade you in different ways. Like, you can deal double damage, but you take double damage, or you can stick to walls and climb walls, different things like that, right? I like that mechanic. And then the whole new mechanic of, you have three not even weapon slots, 3 ability slots where you can get a sword, and you can get different items. Like, you can get use soul to recharge your health, and you can get that bow and arrow, and just some other things as well too. Because it feels like it's more
pound axe.
Nice. I haven't got that yet, but that sounds dope. And you can buy these different items. So whereas in the first game it felt like you were just kind of given everything as you got to it, this one feels like there's more customization in terms of how you play the game and how you like to fight. That I think is really cool, and so far it feels really good.
Yeah, and you can change them all on the fly. Like, it's not like you have to go back to. You don't like walk to an area and be like, "Oh, I really wish I had the fucking bow and arrow here," and then have to go back somewhere to equip it. It's just fucking all out of your menus real quick. So it's a lot of fun. I fucking love that game.
That's the thing I liked about it as well too, is that swapping in between different abilities and different weapons and whatnot, it's quick. Like, you just hold left trigger, and then it's just a scroll wheel. So you just point what you want, it puts it, or point at what you want, click what button you want it mapped to, and then you get right back to it. So it's nice and fast. So I won't even keep. There's the one ability where you can use soul to recharge your health. I don't even keep that one on a button, because if somebody's killing me, they're going to kill me. I'm never going to be able to use it anyways. So I just wait until the battle's done. I'm like, okay, I need to recharge. Just swap it out quickly, use it, and then put in my other weapon. And it's nice and smooth. So yeah, absolutely.
How far are you?
I still haven't gotten to there's
kind of a spot where it opens up a little bit, and you're like, oh, I can go kind of a number of ways. Have you hit that point yet?
No, there's still kind of the one point that I'm looking at where they're like, go here, you're going to get some answers to something or whatever. I'm still getting to that point, but I just got the map that shows me exactly how to get there. So I've been really taking my time with it, like just making sure. Because the first one, the one thing I did really wrong, and actually when I went back and played it again, is I had to go back and kind of get a lot of the upgrades to my health and stuff that I wasn't collecting. This game, I'm making sure to really take my time going through it. So
yeah, like I've said, if you're collecting everything as you go, you'll find that you get to be very powerful by the end of that game.
I look forward to it. We'll see if I actually stay with the collecting stuff, but as of right now, I'm really trying my best. One more thing I will add about it, because Brando, you were talking about you were having issues with the hitching and stuff. I've noticed
Yep.
some of that still when you kind of get to different areas. It's really not game breaking. Like there'll be a little bit of a hitch if you go into a certain area sometimes, but it's like, whatever. It's so subtle, and you're never like in a fight or anything, so it doesn't really affect
No.
that. The one thing that does drive me a little nuts sometimes is when you go to open the map, I'll click open the map because I'm a map checker in those. I think a lot of people probably are. Sometimes the map has a bit of a delay, and I'm sitting there like, let's fucking go. I know I just checked the map 2 seconds ago, but I had to look again, and now I gotta wait again for this time for it to load. So that's a little bit annoying, but once again, a very minor.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way where it's like I fucking check the map and I'm like, okay, I got to go up here and then down here and then drop through this hole. And then that's like 3 more map checks. It's like, okay, go up here and then I like get to the next one. I'm like, okay, down here and then drop through a hole. And then I get to the hole and I check the map again. I'm like, okay, I got to drop through here.
It's every time I look at it, I immediately forget afterwards. I'm just like, all right, I got to go this way, and then I'll get distracted by something, and I'm like, fuck, I got to look again.
I'm also a compulsive map checker.
Yeah,
in everything, in absolutely everything.
Yeah, always
the time
peeking
on your phone.
Yeah, that's just habit these days, right?
Yeah.
We have no faith in our own navigational senses. We need to have something handing it to us. Anyways, that got pretty deep. So Ori's dope. I like it.
Yep.
What's a splash?
Ori is dope.
Yeah, let's go on to the next game I'm playing. So Nintendo
no
did a
paint,
post the other day.
No gain is the tagline apparently.
Oh, is it? That's funny. So
is this Splatoon?
Yeah. No, it isn't, unfortunately. Damn, I should play some Splatoon. I came across this game just in a post that Nintendo put out where they were like, hey, check out this list of underrated games that are on sale now in the eShop. So I was like, all right, whatever. And the art style of this attracted me. I really liked that kind of cartoony look that it had. And it was a side scroller, so I was like, yeah, whatever, let's give it a shot. I think it was on sale for $5. And I had enough coins to get it for like $1. So I was like, all right, let's get this game. It's actually a lot of fun. I haven't played a ton of it yet. I died like 100 times in the first level, so whether or not that says it's difficult or not is up for debate until you play it. But it's cute and it's.
Is it what kind of game is it? Is it just a?
It's just
platformer. Get to the end of the level.
Yeah, it's a platformer. So side-scrolling platformer.
Are you like when you say you died 100 times? Is it like a Meat Boy style? Like die, quickly reset. I fucked it up. Die. Like, are you loading back to a menu every time you die, or what is the?
No. You go back to checkpoints every single time throughout the map, which is nice because I was worried about that. Where I was like, oh, is this going to be like I need to start at the beginning? Is this going to be brutal to me like Mega Man? But no, that is definitely not the case. So it doesn't really explain a lot in terms of the story, but in the opening scene of the game, you're this little guy in some sort of a slime plant, and he looks like a janitor, and he's cleaning the place up, and he's peeking through a doorway, and he's looking through it, and he sees some scientist dude, and the scientist dude, he has a needle that's like, you can't see. What can I describe the length of the needle? Like the length of your arm, and he takes this needle and he jams it into like one of this buddy's like coworkers, and then buddy like starts to balloon up into like this super disgusting thing, and then the scientist sees you looking at him, and then you take off, and then the scientist starts chasing you or whatever. So and then that's the beginning of the game. And then you start off with no weapons. You're kind of just making it through the first level, and it's super platforming based. But it looks like a lot of the contraptions and the platforming is severely. It revolves around like this sticky goop that gets shot everywhere that you can climb, and then water like washing away that sticky goop. So you fall off walls and stuff. So you got to like, if you're climbing up a wall, there might be a jet that like shoots water at it, knocks the goop off. So you got to like jump somewhere else in time. And it's just, I don't know if I'm describing this well, but I'm doing my best.
I'm watching a video of it right now. It's kind of like it's like making the paint makes platforms almost on walls, and then the water removes it. Yeah.
So it probably, I don't know, like 5
sometimes
minutes.
Sometimes you bounce. There's like jump goo.
Yes.
Like.
So So it seems like there's a lot of different types of goop, and I imagine there's more to come. But at about 5 minutes into the game, you finally get an upgrade that gives you like a water cannon. So then you can finally shoot enemies and run gears and move platforms and different things like that. And yeah, a lot of it revolves around like having platforms with propellers on them that you have to shoot with water. It moves them around. Obviously, you got to kill
Does your water
enemies.
fuck up your own goop that you're jumping on?
Yes, it does. So if there's a wall that you need to climb up, and it's there's usually a rotating thing that'll like spray the wall, but then if you spray the wall with water and wash all the goop off, you got to wait until the thing rotates back around again in order to put it back. When you're climbing up the goop, it's really hard to like spray the goop underneath of you, but it can happen. I really like it. The one thing about it that there's two things about it that kind of drive me nuts. The first thing is just getting used to it. It's very floaty. So imagine playing Luigi in any Mario platformer ever, where he like slides everywhere and he's super floaty,
Momentum.
and that. Yeah, it's a very floaty game. And I think that's why I died a lot off the bat, because I just was not used to the fact that, especially playing Ori, that's a lot tighter. This game, it's like you slide a lot, you float a lot, but based off of the way some of the levels are set up, you actually need that to be the way it is. But yeah, so that's not really so much of a complaint as it's just
slide under the gap.
Yeah, you just kind of got to get used to it more than anything. But the one complaint that I actually have is with the water cannon. It's on the same stick as running, so it's on your left stick, which is weird because I don't know why they wouldn't have put it on the right stick. So sometimes you're on a tiny platform,
like
and I'll need to spray. Yeah, like
this whole
sometimes you're on a
game,
tiny.
Mario Sunshine.
Well, Mario Sunshine though, you could at least hold down a button and like stand in position and shoot. Whereas this, you can't actually do that. So if you're on a small platform, and if I need to shoot a propeller or something that's at a 45-degree angle in front of me, or even just in front of me, I have to push forward, and that's going to make me move as well, and I'll fall off the platform. So I've been struggling with that with it.
Is there?
It's weird that.
I wonder if there. I'm just watching this gameplay video. He just got the gun. He's definitely planting his feet and shooting water somehow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe there is like a Mario Sunshine button then that they didn't tell me about yet.
For it. But also every time
Mario
he runs,
Sunshine,
there are a few drips are like shooting out. Where every time I guess
so
you
in
move
Mario
that
Sunshine, it was like a analog button. Or it was they on the GameCube. You could like hold it down a little bit and run with the water out in front of you. But then when you held it down and it clicked, you'd plant your feet.
Yes.
So maybe there's a.
Well, it doesn't. I don't think that the Switch has. Do the triggers do that where they click down softly?
So.
I don't think they do, because you have the bumpers now, right? So they don't do that anymore.
No, it would have to be like a modifier button or something.
Yeah. So maybe I missed something. That game also, it's one of those games that just doesn't tell you a lot about what's going on. So like they're just like, hey, you got this thing, push Y, and okay, I guess I'll figure it out. So maybe I could have missed it, or maybe they just don't tell you. But that's one thing that's kind of frustrating me, is that I haven't been able to like stop in place. But if you're seeing gameplay where he's doing that, I'll look into that, and maybe that'll help improve that. But because you also shoot the water, I think it's X or Y that you shoot the water from. And as I'm hitting that button, I'm like, why wouldn't this be a trigger? Like, why am I shooting this button?
Really weird. So, I might also totally just have this wrong from the 2 minutes of gameplay that I've been watching, but
always a possibility.
Yeah. It's good though. I think it's going to be short. It looks like it won't take long to finish, but I mean, it cost me $1 with those coins, so I'm really enjoying it so far. So I'm thinking I'm going to be into it. I don't know if you played Owl Boy before, but that game had it where the shooting was on a different stick, and that was fun because it's fun to move around in a game like that, but also shoot in other directions. So when I was playing this game, I was just like, why wouldn't it have those controls? It doesn't make any sense to me. But it's cute. I'm liking it.
Splashers is that game.
Yeah.
Let's stop for a quick little break here, maybe. Grab a drink, use the restroom, whatever we need to do, and we'll come back here, talk about some more video games in just a moment. We'll see you on the other side of this musical break. Let's come back, gentlemen. Talk about some video games.
Ooh.
I'm going to go now.
Sorry for going so long.
Go now.
Andy, I'm going now, Andy. Oh, I heard an echo. I got too excited. All right, I'll go now.
I wasn't going to take your time.
Yeah, I started playing some Overwatch. I don't know if you guys have heard about this game called Overwatch. I don't know if I'm saying. I think it's two words. Overwatch.
Tell me more.
I've played it. I played like 40 hours when it came out, and I I ain't no noob, all right, gentlemen.
But there's several characters that you've never. In fact, the
Oh, that's
vast
true. Yeah.
majority of new characters you would have never seen.
Yeah, the last new character. I don't think there were any new characters out when I stopped playing. There were probably 0 new characters. But yeah, I started playing on Xbox with the fellers. With these fellers. It's okay. I don't know. There's something about the shooting model. I am just no good at Overwatch. I'm pretty good at Call of Duty. I shoot okay. I can, I can like spin around and pick a target out. I'm pretty good at some other shooting games on the Xbox with the controller. I play Call of Duty on the PC with a controller. I am just no fucking good at the shooting in Overwatch. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I cannot. It always feels bad to me. It feels weird to me.
And it might I have no idea. I can't put it into words, but I also feel like I'm a much better shooter at Overwatch.
Oh,
So I'm, than in a game like Call of Duty, and I'm not really sure what. Like, it's not like it feels loose. It feels tight.
Yeah, no, it's definitely super tight.
Very different.
Can't quite, yeah. It's, like you say, very hard to describe. Where the shooting model is just different enough that I just cannot seem to. I'm sure I'll get there eventually, but as of right now, I cannot like point at a target and fucking shoot him. My cursor's all over the place, and I gotta wait for it to scrub over, and then try and pull the trigger like I'm playing Halo 2 with a sniper.
Well, and I was gonna say some of it I think is maybe that it's all with the exception of a few abilities that are mapped to left trigger, which is like an aim down sight mechanic for some characters. All the shooting is from the hip, or it's you don't look down your sights.
I still often
I think probably throws
accidentally use an ability, trying to so many times. Aim down, threw my shield out or whatever. Oops, nobody saw that. All right.
No, and a lot of the guns are designed in such a way that you're not supposed to hit the shots the way that you would in Call of Duty. Like one of my favorite characters to play is Lucio, and Lucio's his bullet time from gun to opponent over any degree of distance other than extremely short is that's a perfect shot, but if that guy moves in the next second and a half, he still might get away.
Yeah, it's very, very slow. I don't really have too much to say on Overwatch other than they at some point they broke the characters out into tank, healer, and they're just called damage. The big chunk of them, like 2/3 of the heroes are damage. And queue times on the Xbox anyways, which I think they're not terrible. They're usually 6 or 7 minutes, and you can load into other games and play just skirmishes and practice with other players and stuff while you're waiting to match. But it's just so strange to me. Like when that game launched, maybe I'm misremembering. I feel like you could have we're 6 tracers. Our team is 6 tracers. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
On quick play for sure. On quick play, there was fucking no rules. You could have 6 of the same character. All the characters could be from one class. There was nothing.
I don't think there really were
from doing anything.
I think they were kind of billed as such.
There was always
but it was
4 classes. Yeah, but it wasn't you didn't need to have a certain amount. There wasn't the roll queue.
Yeah,
where it was you need to have 2 attackers, 2 tanks, and 2 healers like it is now.
Yeah, that's real wild. That roll queue to me it's completely inoffensive. Maybe not completely inoffensive, because if you want to play damage and you're queuing by yourself, sometimes you're waiting 7 to 8 minutes per game, which is instead of I'm gonna play for 3 hours, instead of getting 7 or 8 games in, I'm getting 4 games in because most of it was waiting.
Right.
And that's a little. It feels like I don't have the answer. It just feels so strange to me in 2020. This is old Warcraft matchmaking. I am surprised Blizzard hasn't found a different way to do it. Maybe is
and I've talked about it with Brando before. I think one of the big issues going into the way they have it set up now is absolutely the way it needs to be, because there was such a problem with people not playing as healers, or people would start out as healers, and then if you kind of started to lose, they would just fucking go play attack or something like that, and you'd have no healers, and it was so frustrating.
You'd have
right?
to be consciously aware. I remember just saying to someone "Oh, we don't have any healers anymore. One of us has to flip the healer." Checking your roster after every time you die to see what your team comp was, because you're "Oh yeah, no one wanted to tank this game. I guess one of us should probably do that."
Yeah, and it's so competitive now, especially in sounds stupid to say, but competitive mode. And it's everybody's just gotten so tight, and for the most part, so many people are good at this game now and really get it, that in order for it to work the way that they designed it to work, you have to have all those elements in play. But I think that Blizzard just thought that people would just be smart enough just to understand that you need all these things. Not the case though, because everybody's selfish and self-centered.
But these are the folks who make World of Warcraft, a game that like thrives off that trinity, where they years and years and years ago introduced a system where you queue up as tank, healer, DPS, and you need this many, this many, this many.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't.
It's brutal. In Warcraft, it's like if you want to play DPS, you are waiting sometimes upwards of 2 to 3 hours. I've had queues back when I played. Like it was this times 1,000.
Maybe there's just nothing you can do about it then. The one thing that I thought was, since they had it split up the way that they did when they first launched the game, where it was tank, defense, attack, and support. I don't know if they ever anticipated to go to a system of tank, healer, and damage.
Yeah.
So when they combined the defense characters and the attackers together and had such a high roster, such a large roster of characters, that made this system that they're at now a little more ineffective, because there's more characters to choose from, right? So I can pick damage, I have more guys to pick one. Whereas if I'm going to pick tank or healer, I've got like 5 in each section, as opposed to having an option of like 10.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge problem too.
I think a lot of people, probably like myself, they don't play roles as much as they just play heroes. So like, I like being this hero and this hero, this hero, this hero, this hero, this hero. It turns out that maybe all 5 of them are damage, like in that damage category now or something. And it kind of makes sense that it just has more heroes. It makes sense you're going to wait longer to play them. But it makes it hard. If you want to like learn to play some of the damage heroes, it makes it really hard to like queue up and then wait for 8 minutes. It's a long wait.
Yeah.
7 to 8 minutes is really long. Especially when those games are like about that long also.
Just for the contrast, like if you queue up for all 3 roles and just say, give me whatever's open first, it's literally like 30 seconds.
Yeah, instant queue,
like
basically.
you get into matches so fast. Like they're so clearly having this backlog of people who want to attack and do damage, and just waiting for people to come in and be like, yeah, I'll tank, I'll heal. And they're like, great, you guys are in, no line. Next attackers, let's go.
Yeah.
And I hate that, because honestly, like I have a lot of fun. Like we play, Brando and I probably play the most right now, and then you're jumping in and playing a lot now too. But like when we're playing Overwatch, we'll play nights most of the time where we only play healer and tank, and I'm having a blast. Like sometimes we get more kills than the attackers do, and we're winning games. Like I still think that you can have fun with that, and you can still find ways to have fun with it. I just like, if all you're playing that game for is just to get off on killing guys, go fucking fire up Call of Duty and get the hell out of there. Like
what if I want to help my team,
game.
Andy? What if I want to?
You can help
It's not
your
that I like
team.
killing guys. I just like playing Torbjorn because I have a legendary skin for him, and I think he's fun, and his turret does half the shooting, so I can't miss if I'm only shooting half the bullets. You know what I'm saying?
That's fine, a better reason than most people have.
That's the thing, is that there's a lot of people that's not the reason, right? Like that's the only thing that they want, is to go in there and be Reaper and get their friggin' die and kill a bunch of people and be like, yeah, give me all the friggin' 5 votes at the end of the match.
You're going
like,
for the play of the game.
Yeah, like that's not, everybody wants to be, it's all the people going into that game not treating it as a team-based game, but treating it as this solo, I'm going to be the superstar and get 100 kills and lead my team to victory, and that's what's going to be satisfying for me. That's Call of Duty. Everybody's always telling me, Andy, don't care about whether your team wins or loses in Call of Duty. It's just about your individual kills and kill-death ratio. Those are the people that care about that thing going to Overwatch that's ruining Overwatch for people.
We just got to get in the competitive. I'm almost there. I've almost played enough games that we can play competitive.
The queue times are much better in competitive.
The queue times are not much better.
Yeah, but hopefully
the players are a little bit better. Like they're a little bit better, I'll say, at knowing their roles. Because I think one of the biggest problems are healer and tank. Their roles are very defined, and there's, even for tank, there's a certain amount of support that is kind of understood with tanks, that they're supposed to be kind of lines, absorbing the damage, pushing people around. I think people just view attackers as, I'm on my own. I'm a fucking lone wolf. I can go do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And it's like, No. You're still part of the team. Go kill the healer. Go flank people. Go get in behind bastions and those less mobile characters. Go deal with them. It's not just you just go right up the middle and you can fight their attack and go do whatever you want. First person you see, go shoot them.
Yeah, people. We've seen the gambit. I'll say people play. A lot of folks come into that game and they're just trying to get killed, and that's always really frustrating. Where you're like, man, if any of us queued as damage or could ever match in his damage, we probably could have won this match. Because we see someone to go up there and kill that turret guy who's just fucking dumping into our team nonstop. He doesn't move. He can't move. Someone could just go murder him.
Yeah.
But it can't be one of us because we got other shit to do. We're tanking and healing down here.
And then out of nowhere, I'll hear Brando as fucking Lucio be like, I got the Bastion. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing getting the Bastion? Where's the fucking
rolling
Reaper
up
at?
our sleeves.
Like, holy
I'll
shit.
go do it.
Like, yeah, like fucking, are you fucking kidding me? I gotta fly up there as Mercy with my super and shoot Bastion in the back? Like, what are you doing, Reaper? Like, go kill this guy. It drives me nuts.
You'll get the good attackers, and it feels like whenever we have good attackers, it's just the game's over in 3 minutes because everything else just runs smoothly from then on out. It's like you'll get through a whole game and you'll be like, I couldn't even tell you what their healers were because I never saw them alive once. Like when you get good attackers, it can totally change a game, even if you're not playing well, which is probably the same for every class. It just seems like attackers are very much the ones where they kind of just want to go do their thing. You never see the attackers using the group up command.
Yes. Never.
Yeah.
Never.
You know what they use all the time though?
I need
healing. I need
healing.
I need
heals
healing.
over here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, fucking Genji, that you took that Bastion head on who had a Mercy on him the entire time and your deflector didn't kill him. Oh no. And I'm sorry I'm fucking dumping into this Reinhardt who's getting his ass handed to him because you can't fucking kill the Mercy. That's healing the Bastion.
Yeah, when we play, it gets real serious sometimes. It gets real fucking serious. Where like, and it's fun. It's fun when you take it seriously and you like pull in a white knuckle victory. You're like, oh, we have to fight for every inch of that. Or you play well and crush them. It's super fun. But the other side of that is when it goes bad, you're just so fucking mad sometimes. That goddamn fucking plays class. Oh, it's very fun.
Yeah,
it's very fun.
Sometimes there are those games where it's like you just get steamrolled and you're like, well, you know what? Every now and then you run into 6 people who are better at video games than you.
Yep.
But it's the ones that are like really tight, and you're just like, if this guy would just shoot this person. If all he did was shoot this person every time, we'd have a win here.
It's very kind of strange going between this and Valorant, where they're both these hero shooters, 6-on-6. They both feel profoundly different in a way where Overwatch feels like almost less serious in a way where in Valorant, like you die once and you're out, and everyone takes it so fucking, it's so toxic. I guess I just don't have the mics on in Overwatch, so I haven't noticed any of it, but like everybody takes Valorant so fucking seriously, and the game isn't even out yet, that like if you don't know your callouts, you're getting shit on. And it's so weird to go to Overwatch and be like, this is kind of light and fun and colorful, and I don't have kids just
so much personality,
like
and the
swearing in my
characters.
ears, and all the characters are really horny. Like that's very horny video game. Very horny video game. Holy shit.
Valorant or Overwatch? Valorant is.
Overwatch.
Overwatch is horny.
Overwatch is a very, very horny video game. What are you squinting your eyes at me? What are you squinting your eyes at me, Andy?
What's horny about it?
It's just anytime you see any, it's like,
Diva
Widowmaker
Diva
is on
like
my screen.
16.
Widowmaker's doing her fucking pose. She's doing her sticking her ass out pose on the menu screen.
You get a slutty ballerina
and arguably all video games have a character like that.
So many of the women though in Overwatch. So many of the women. It's a horny video game. What do we don't. I'm not saying that's bad.
Mercy's horny.
Well, Mercy's very horny. Widow's horny.
Yeah.
Tracer's really horny.
Tracer's pretty horny.
Costume.
I don't even know all the names from a lot of the characters. Symmetra's super horny. You got like that sides cut out. It's very horny.
Maybe in today's culture, I'm just becoming numb to it.
Yeah, no, that's anime, brother. We've just embraced it. We're on the other side of it. It's great over here.
Yeah, I ain't complaining. Eads, your comment on the player base not being as toxic. You just wait until we get into competitive and you start having that notification pop up at the bottom of your screen after a
Invited to
match.
a party.
Message from blah 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 blah.
Good.
And you fucking open that bad boy up and somebody
Not
is
gonna check
ripping
that.
you for how you did it. I have so many messages on my Xbox Messenger, and like there's a few from Warren and Brando and you just being asses to me, but everything that isn't from my friends, I guarantee is somebody chewing me out because of my performance in an Overwatch. I've got so many, probably at least 100. I kid you not, of people messaging me and being like,
I don't get any of
"Oh,
those.
go watch some YouTube videos on how to play fucking Ana." Like,
There's a practice
geez.
range
Ana,
in the main
Horny
menu.
character.
You ever go try that practice ring? Why would you be Widowmaker when I'm a Hanzo main? Why would you try that? Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Well, why would you be Han?
I hate
Because Hanzo's my main.
I don't give a fuck what your
It's-
main is.
Yeah, like take your main and stick
Sure
it
didn't
up
look
your
like a main.
ass. Yeah,
So-
fucking hell. We know the greatest of Hanzo of all time, Warren Barris. So whatever you're claiming is fucking bullshit.
It's true.
There's this thing at the end of the game where you can endorse other players. It's like, oh, good teamwork, good sportsmanship, whatever. And I like to give it to the other team because no one ever does that. And sometimes you'll get two. I have to give it to the other team because everyone endorses their own team. And if I give it to the other
So-
team, maybe they'll get two of them. That'd be a pretty special. That'd be a special day, Andy. We're making a special day for someone. They get two common. Oh, I got common dated twice. What
I mean,
if
you can get commendated twice from your own team, though.
you can? It's very rare. It's rarer, right? When it's I suppose it. But
I will
also
say
for
this.
your team.
I'll say this, Eads. I don't know. Like, whenever I get a commendation, I don't know if the guy was on my team or the other team. I
Yeah,
never know
you
any
can
of
never
our guys'
tell. You can
gamer
never
tags.
tell.
Yeah.
It's just anonymous as far as I know. But what if we take that philosophy and at the end of competitive games, we start sending people messages or we're just like, hope you have a nice
Job
day.
well done.
Yeah. Hey, great game, man.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
say that I have had a couple messages like that. I had a round, and I'll never forget it, where I fucking lit it up as Widowmaker. I don't know what was happening. It just everything was falling into place for me, and
Didn't have any fucking
somebody-
Hanzos stealing your goddamn thunder, that's for sure.
Trust me, anytime I've played as Widowmaker and a Hanzo tries to get on in there, I've lit them up every single time. The Hanzos that are fucking getting mad at you because you're also playing a sniper are
disapproving
not
look.
good Hanzos. Yeah, they're not good Hanzos. So, but yeah, somebody shot me a message and they were like, "Dude, that was fantastic. When you picked Widowmaker, I thought we were fucked, but you did a really good job." And I was like, "Yeah, awesome. Okay, great.
Let's do it. Power
Glad
positivity.
Yeah."
If we
But I mean,
make
somebody-
our
I think
enemies
Overwatch-
into our friends, have we not destroyed them all the same? Think about that.
Well, I'm never going to message somebody that rips
Not
me
really
apart
how
and
that
tell them
quote
they
goes,
did a good
but-
job. No.
Well, not if
yeah,
someone's
it's like-
mean to you. We're just going to shoot them off
No.
into the abyss after we well, maybe not after we crush a team, because then that seems mean, but, you know,
Well,
like,
I-
I think
we'll just-
Overwatch does a very good job at like surfacing the positive stuff in those games.
Yeah.
Which is something that I think a lot of games can do better. Instead of having the kill death list that comes up and being like, oh yeah, there's me at the bottom again. It's just very much like at worst, it's like, oh, I wasn't top 3 out of 6 in any of these categories. But most of the time it's like, oh, look at that. I did the second most healing in that
Yeah.
round, or the second most damage for my team, or and it never like spotlights bad performance stuff, but at the end of the game, it's always like, here's 4 of your top performers of the game. Here's the play of the game.
Yeah, very
I like all that stuff.
positively oriented, which is fun.
Yeah, and the play of the game is cool. That's actually
Yeah.
a really good point. Is that it is designed very well. That if you're not actually talking to other people and people aren't messaging you, for the most part, it's positive. Unless you get completely steamrolled, then it really there's nothing you can do to
No medals.
make a person feel good about that.
Yes.
But and then also the
Or
other
getting
thing
a
that
medal
doesn't
with
make
one
me.
kill.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's the other thing is when I'm playing fucking Baptiste and I have a gold medal with 3 eliminations, that doesn't make me feel good.
And he plays
We
a
always
tank,
call each.
so he's one of 6 characters and often does more than 35%. It's somewhere between 35 and 40% of the team's damage usually as a fucking tank. Every
we never
feel
single
good.
game.
We never feel good. We're like, well, we never really had a chance, did we?
Yeah. Wow. Oh, 30% of the damage on old Sigma, huh, Andy?
Yeah, I'm pretty good with Sigma though. And
He's
then
very
for Haymond, when I'm playing the hamster, that's one that I just Like I'll have like 65% kill participation, but I wasn't actually really killing a ton of people. I was just hitting literally everybody all the time, so I was getting in
His
on
name-
every single kill.
His name is Ballman.
20 damage on everyone.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's a fun game. It's really good, and I'm
It's a
glad
very
you have it
fun
on Xbox now. Yeah, I'm glad you have it on Xbox now, so you can play with us because it's a lot of fun, and it's more fun with friends. I wouldn't have played it as long as I have if it wasn't for playing with other people.
What else did I do? Oh, I got into. I finally got into that Red Dead RP. All that Red Dead 2 multiplayer I played is paying off.
Also paid for.
Also paid.
Oh, we don't know what this guy.
What does that mean? What?
I'm still waiting for you to send me those
Outlaws
Dragon
to
Ball
the
Z
end.
DVDs.
What are you talking about? You're watching them right now. What are you watching Kai on, if not the fucking DVDs I sent you?
Waiting on those DVDs,
Yeah,
too.
Andy.
Those super DVDs.
Motherfucker. You can use the super DVDs. I don't even know what he's talking about. So Red Dead 2 role playing is a kind of, man, really hard to even sort of describe. It's
Game
like
for pervert.
the game for perverts. That's
Well,
right.
from
If you
what
like,
I understand,
you like Final
it's-
Fantasy VII, you're gonna. Oh.
you just roleplay. You
Yeah,
roleplay
kind
your
of.
Arthur Morgan.
There's a lot of
Not
Arthur
your Arthur
Morgans.
Morgan.
A lot of Arthur Morgans.
Arthur Morgan.
Everybody's like, I need a Red Dead character. What am I gonna do for my character? Because I can't just talk like myself. Sure. Oh, we got 500 Arthur. Yes, Arthur. Like everybody is Arthur. Not everybody. We met some fine folks who weren't. Yeah, it's just a fucking cacophony of shores.
Sorry, Eats, can I interject quickly?
Yeah, of course.
I want to see somebody do one of those like battle simulators of like 500 Arthur Morgans versus like a T-Rex or something like that. That might be funny. I'd be all over that.
Oh, fuck, can you imagine?
All of them
Everyone
doubled
just
over
using
coughing.
the fucking dead eye. Just-
So what is it? It's like a role playing like kind of server.
Yes,
Where
it's a loose
fucking-
collection of mods. There's like 10,000 different mods, and it's all held together by duct tape. And it crashes all the fucking time, and like had to either restart a bunch. To even get approved to play on the server, I had to submit an application, which had to include videos of
The
me
video
role playing.
reel?
Yes,
Oh fuck!
which
for
luckily
real?
we have hundreds and hundreds of hours of D&D on the internet, so that was no problem. Had like a real deal interview with like, let's say this happens. What do you think your character might do?
Oh yeah, they were probably like, "Oh fuck, it's a D&D DM. Let's fucking get this guy on because he'll fucking."
Those fuckers
Ship
made me
this-
update some of my interview questions weren't good enough. And I had to go back in and like type it in better.
Oh, those
But
fucking
so
assholes.
filled out this application, waited the wait if you it's on the Wild West RP server. If you want to apply to get whitelisted, the wait is pretty long, so apply now and then get in the waitlist. Finally got approved, got running, made a character, got in there, yada yada. It's impossibly complicated to get running. But it's all these mods, and then it uses this TeamSpeak plugin so everyone in the server goes into this TeamSpeak does it all automatically, which is amazing. But it like makes proximity voice chat. It simulates positional audio and stuff. So like, Oliver, if you are like behind me and to the left, the TeamSpeak knows to unmute your and my mics together because we're close and can speak, and it'll also position your audio back here in a weird way. Like the voice chat stuff seems fucking magical.
There was a thing for GTA 5 for this, right? Where like
Yes.
people would play as like cops, and like
Yes.
if you
This is exactly
saw a guy like
that.
jaywalking, you could like hassle him and stuff.
Yes,
That's
exactly
crazy.
that.
What is it? What is it like here? That sounds crazy.
So we just played in today, jumped in. I don't have a great sense of like today was a totally learning day, so I was being very passive. You know, I was let other players take the lead type of stuff. Just kind of learn, you know, where my place is, what the meta is like, I guess, for lack of a better term. A lot of it seems, and I'm not really sure where the divide is yet. A lot of it is like the power of imagination. A lot of it you have to like really role play. Where so I was a bartender today in Valentine. Which I just walked in there and someone was
I
like,
fucking love
I need a
Valentine.
drink. And I was like, looking around, I'm like, I can handle this. My character is Jeremiah Rent, who is based off of Josiah Trelawney from the campaign. He's got a mustache. He speaks very properly. He sort of does, he kind of has this, he doesn't have an accent, but has, you know, proper diction, especially compared to these country bumpkins. Somebody accused me of being homosexual because I guess that's how homosexuals talked in the 1800s. I guess I don't know.
The fucking internet. I guess.
But anyway, so went into the
I
bar.
don't even think you need too deeply in the internet called you a homosexual.
Wonder why he did that.
I fucking
because of
played
his
it
proper diction.
perfectly. Someone said something. It was like something like men. I was like, oh, I like men, women, anyone with coin, and like jingled the glass around a bit.
Tremendous response.
So if you break character on the server, you get banned. You cannot break character while you're on the server. If you have questions, they have to be formed in the context of the server. So I could not figure out how to get this guy a beer. And at first he's like, how much is it? I'm like, because in the campaign they're 50 cents. I'm like, that's 50 cents. He goes, oh, a deal, great. Tosses me the 50 cents or whatever. And then I have to figure out how to get him a beer. And there's all these emotes. And one of them is give beer, so I'm like pressing the give beer emote and pulling beers out and putting them on the counter, and like they're stacking up, but apparently they're not real beers, they're just emote beers. And so the way you end up doing it is you go to this store is there, you buy a beer for $1 for yourself, the barkeeper, and then put it in another player's inventory basically, and they give you the price you asked for, and so like that part of it is very much that's kind of the make believe part, right? Where I'm literally buying the beer. For $1 just from the store, and then you and I are role playing like you're buying from me, the bartender, and they kind of make it
on all these beers.
I did because I was dumb, but then after that I'm like, the price went up to $1.50, and they're like, okay, like money seems kind of meaningless in a way where people are like they pay for these. Somebody paid me to do something today. I can't remember what it was. Like little tasks, basically.
Sometimes you don't want to remember.
Yeah, just little tasks. Something like, hey, I just need to, take this wagon down to wherever. You pay a few bucks to do that for me or whatever. And then there are some of it is like real systems where things like the fishing is a little different, where it's like MMO fishing, where instead of like, you casting the lure as a button and reeling it in and do all that, you just go out there and you fucking press fish at the fishing spot and he fishes for a bit, and then it's like, oh, caught a fish, lost a fish. So there's all these kind of different systems they have built in. I have no idea what to do. I have no idea how to make money. Did a few deliveries.
Stock up your beers and your whiskeys and your wines, maybe.
Yeah,
and then
cigars.
you fucking just keep slinging suds. Yeah, cigars, tins of tobacco.
It's hard to find people. Like the West is empty. It turns out 32 players to a server over the entire Red Dead 2 landmass is a pretty empty map.
I guess.
But I did do a few
you're
deliveries and things, and got a little bit of money.
Find that one, like the general store guy, and just stock up on your shit.
Yeah, or run the
These are
general store
real
for a
life
day.
problems with the ongoing situation. There's
Yeah.
no one out there buying the goods.
That's right. So the other thing I kind of realized is like there is this deep. I am a newcomer to this incredibly. I had no idea what I was in for. I just thought I was gonna get in there. There's gonna be a bunch of people being like, "We're cowboys," and I did meet a few folks like that where. Everybody is either Arthur Morgan, sure, or from the Bayou, which is an accent I don't even try to do. Although some people who should not try to do that accent do it anyways in that game, in a way that like we had a dude that I could not understand what he was saying. I thought he was like Swedish, Beavis and Butthead. Butthead is like, hey, how's it going? I thought he was like, because he's like, hey, my name's Bjorn. Hey, how's it going? He's like this big giant. But he's like doing an accent. He's like Swedish Butthead in a way. Where, sometimes there's a little bit of a gear clashing where like I don't even know what this person's saying. I'm just gonna put a beer on the counter in front of them.
What could he possibly want from me other than a drink?
That's kind of a cool thing, right? Like, because everybody wants to be a goddamn Arthur Morgan, but like there are people that need to populate it as like the barkeeps.
Totally.
The general store guys and like the lawmen.
And so that's what so lawmen is a whole weird thing where to be a sheriff, sheriffs are appointed. You have to be appointed a sheriff by the current governor, mayor. I don't know. There's a whole government system.
Oh fuck! There's a whole thing. Hey,
it was like started, I think, by the people who started the server, and there are elections. There are people campaigning. There's like a whole the player who plays the governor or whatever logs on to promote his like campaigns and things. It's really, really in depth and really player driven. And
that's neat. That's super cool. I love role playing. Like that fun. Sounds so fun. Like it could be like, hey, this fucking bartender, whatever his name is, Tacitus, is doing a great job. Let's let's set him up with a campaign to become like the sheriff
Sure.
because
And-
because we feel like he could fucking roleplay as a fucking sheriff lawman.
Well, I think it would be up to you to be like, I, the character, am interested in becoming a sheriff. I have to go apply to be a sheriff and try to rally support to, or whatever, like get deputized. I don't know how it goes, but
Hey, fucking buddy, come on. That's not how the Wild West works.
I think it might have been.
They see the bartender who is fucking a hard ass and think, hey, that would be a good sheriff. So you just kind of get.
They don't think I'm a hard ass. They think I'm gay. Remember?
I think how it works is when you roll into town, if you're new, they'll say, "Hey, you new here? Yeah, you're the sheriff. Where's what happened to the other sheriff?
Pin it right on you.
Yeah.
The other sheriff's dead. It's in the graveyard." And then there's like 7 tombstones that all say sheriff on them, and then that's how it works. They just fucking keep picking suckers. It's gonna be the sheriff, and then fucking
That's right.
dickhead in the black hat comes and down kills the next sheriff, which is you, and then just things keep going, moving on. Really, it's the bad guys that run all the towns. It's not the sheriffs. They're just there to fill up the
I
graveyards.
didn't see a single lawman today. I was thinking about doing some shady shit. We were playing very passive today. Again, did not know the rules, did not want to push things too far, so there was like a few good opportunities where, and it very much seems like somebody has to grab the reins and like take the role of GM or DM at some point and be like, all right, we're gonna
That's
make
like life.
hijinks happen. We're gonna make hijinks happen. Exactly. Someone has to be the ringleader. Like you, and you. We're going to rob a train or whatever. Where I walked into a bar. I walked into the Valentine bar because I was going to and from making deliveries and shit. It was like 2 days later. Came back into the Valentine bar and there's like 6 people on a circle. So I just walked in and I'm like, oh, good. So I like to be, because all the NPCs in the game say good morning, right? Anytime you meet them, they're like, oh, good morning. So anytime I pass literally anyone, no matter what time of day it is, like, oh, morning, good morning, like saying good morning to everyone. Walked in and was like, oh, good morning, gentlemen. And they all turned and were just like, oh shit, I think that's him. I think that's who we're looking for. And me, in my first time, I was, because like, there's 2 different paths, right? It's like the freeze frame goes black and white, and you just hear like my monologue, where I'm like, man, if I had any sense of like what it meant to die or like get injured or like any of the consequences, I would just turn around and run. I would just be like, oh, they found me, and away I would fucking go, having no idea what anyone was talking about, and lead us on this merry chase. But instead I talked to them, and I was like, I've honestly hadn't ever been here before. And they're like, oh, we're looking for this dude. We think his name's so he wore a top hat like I do, even though it's not a top hat. He had a mustache, and he talks funny, and I guess I talk funny as we.
I'm shocked that I'm shocked the description wasn't talk gay.
Yeah, well, apparently, as we've established. And so they thought it was me. This person's named Michael. Could be Michael first name, Michael last name. Eventually, they think his name might be Michael. I don't know. So I joined them in the hunt for Michael. But it very much is like one of those situations where, you know, like going forward, could totally have just made that into a thing where like, I don't know who these fucking guys are, but now I'm on the run. Just they're shooting at me, and you know, you very much make your own stories, and it seems neat. The very first interaction, the other like little story from this. Do you have a question, Oliver?
No, you continue with the story, but like, yeah, you just continue with the story.
Sure. The very first interaction, I met a lady. Very first real person I met a lady in town. They had like a very southern drawl. I was like, oh hey y'all, like very friendly. And she had a bucket on her head. I'm like, oh okay. I thought it was armor at first. I'm like, oh yeah, it's like the armor from the multiplayer. You can't get shot. Metal bucket. And so whatever, we were just talking. I'm like, I need to buy a horse. She's like, oh well, you should buy the cheapest. Like, was giving me real advice. It was like, oh, just buy the cheapest horse because soon you'll be able to afford a better one. Yada yada. I'm like, oh great. You can tell me where to do. Oh, at the stable there. Perfect. Thank you. By the way, I like your bucket. And as I'm leaving, she's like, oh thanks. I'm someone Bronze Bucket, matriarch of the Bronze Bucket clan. Maybe you've seen my grandkids around. And like, there's no one else around us, but like, I'm just starting to realize, like, what the fuck am I getting into? Where, like, now I'm going to see people with buckets. I heard about all these factions today. I learned about the Bronze Bucket family or whatever. I learned about the Mud Brothers, who are apparently these. I think I met the Mud Brothers, even though they said they weren't. Who are these people who do mud cart races that you go and bet on, apparently? There's, like, all these in-world factions that already exist, and jumping in that is. It's weird. It's really weird. It feels like Westworld. Westworld has never felt truer than right now. Where you're like examining everyone, and you're like, is that an NPC? Like, is that a host or is that a person? You're like,
For sure. If you can't tell, does it matter?
Yeah, you're waiting for them to like take a step off the NPC path, and you're like, oh,
Gotta
they'll
shoot 'em.
break. They'll break.
you
So
find out.
I kept pulling my gun out because I was very proud. Jeremiah bought his first firearm. He's like, oh, look at this, everyone! And people are not okay with that. When they thought I was Michael and I pulled it out in the bar to show them, fucking Six Pistols came up real fast. Like, whoa, put it down.
That sounds interesting and like very fun and like, yeah, like I always hear about the GTA 5 kind of role playing servers and stuff, and like yeah, the cops that are just kind of hassling these people on the street. Like I imagine, like the more people get into it, the more cohesive it gets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I would
yeah,
think
like
so.
you as the bartender, I mean, as long as you like stake your spot there in Valentine, like you'll be the guy,
Totally.
right? Like, because how does that work? Like, the whole world, I imagine, exists, right? But the people that visit Valentine will go to your bar, your
If
saloon.
they're in that server, yeah. The other side of that is like then you're the bartender, and you kind of got to be the bartender. If someone shows up and the bartender's not there, it's like weird. Okay, where's the bar? I know Jeremiah here owns the bar in Valentine or whatever.
Yeah, so fucking clean your glasses and shit. Make sure that the ladies of the night are, like
it could be
hey,
like you
new
might be
guy.
literally just standing there for like. It's a huge world with only 32 people. You might literally be standing there for like hours waiting for
Oh, it's
another
only
player to show
32
up.
people?
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs more people then, eh?
It
If
definitely-
it gets more in
Yeah.
there, then
If they ever find a way to get that
That's very
server size up, that'd be very cool. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's a very wide open, sparse West right now.
Play
But
your
it's still very neat.
role, Jeremiah.
He's not sure what his role. He's a con man. He's a grifter, and from New York.
is Michael.
Hey, you speak funny.
Oh,
What's up
maybe
with you?
Compared to you, I'm a homosexual, sir.
That's,
Twist my
that's bad news.
mustache.
That's bad news if I heard it. I guarantee.
That was way better than like 90% of the folks from the Bayou that I heard today. At least I can understand it. It's very fun, very fun. We're gonna do a bunch more of that throughout the coming weeks here, and really try to find a role for Jeremiah as long as he survives.
Role playing's
He'll
very
die.
fun.
Role playing is very, very fun. That's me in a nutshell. Brandon, what have you been up to?
I finished Doom Eternal finally
What'd you think? What is your
after a
final
long
take?
hiatus. I ended very positive on it.
Yeah.
I started positive and just it kept going up and up and up, and then I kind of hit when that first Marauder hit about that where I kind of started seeing the problems of that game that you said that game may run into in the back half, and whether that was just me being over prepared for it, or I felt like it never got worse than the Marauder.
Yeah. Even that final boss fight, really. Even that big like shoot the 9 parts and then shoot the 9 parts and then shoot the 9 parts.
Well, I liked that because it felt like the boss battle wasn't creative at all. Like it was like a bullet sponge enemy, but it felt like 90% of the final boss fight is just fighting. It's crowd control. It's just fighting almost wave based enemy spawns, and then kind of whenever you carve yourself out a little bit of time, just taking your shots at the boss, which is just you're basically just shooting sections of them.
Yeah.
And I actually died probably 5 times on the first phase of it. And then the second phase is just the first phase with even more enemies. And the first time I got to the first phase, or the second phase, I was fighting that whole time being like, I swear to God, if I die during the second phase and they put me back at the beginning of the first phase, I'm going to be pissed. But then I actually didn't die on the second phase. So I still don't know if they would have done that.
I feel like they are like generous with. I feel like the checkpoint was surprised. I think I might have died, and I think they start you on the second phase. I think I remember being like, "Oh, like pleasantly surprised."
It would be in
this.
keeping with that game
Yeah.
to start you in the second phase because the checkpointing was always pretty generous. So by the end of the game, I had all my guns upgraded.
Mhm.
Between getting just enough challenges done and then you can find mastery tokens late in the game, which basically allow you to bypass the challenges that upgrade your guns. And the stuff that I managed to get done on my own and the mastery tokens, I got all my guns fully upgraded. And I just think that I spent a lot of time blowing up fucking hordes and hordes of demons in that final boss fight. Like some just like 5 at a time, each one of which I remember the first time I fought in this game, just being like, this is fucking insanely hard. This is an incredibly hard. I can't believe they want me to shoot the cannons off this mancubus. And now it's just like 6 mancubuses are running at me and be like, that's why I got just the gun for this. And then they all blow up. I think it's really cool how much more powerful you feel at the end of that game than at the beginning. My biggest problem with that game is still the Marauders.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I had one, which I was so happy that I did it, that I actually saved the clip box. But you can stun lock them in such a way where when you get it down, and as long as there's not a whole lot of enemies, you can kill them really quick. But I could not reliably do that.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know that was an option when I played, that you can apparently get him into some kind of a stun lock.
Yeah, it's not really a stun lock in the sense that he can't do anything. It's kind of a whenever you hit him with the super shotgun, which is kind of the best way to hit him, and then while he's staggered, you can button press over to your ballista and shoot him in the head. And then for whatever reason, it felt like every time you would do that, he would respond with a green eye axe throw, whether it was just because it had him at the perfect distance or not. So then while his eyes turn green, he goes for another big axe swipe or whatever. You hit him with the shotgun and rinse and repeat. So he is attacking, but you were drawing the attack out of him with that combination that allowed you to just keep doing it and keep doing it. So once I got that figured out, then he was the only enemy I was having really that much trouble with. And the rest I felt was just really smart game design, like the Cyber Mancubus having the blood punch to deal with, and like everyone having their right way to handle, and keeping all that in your head while you ran around the arena. And just like, oh, I gotta kill 2 more guys. I got my blood punch and I hit the Mancubus, and then I go over here, and I was super satisfied by all that.
Yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That said, there was a moment where my game glitched in one of the combat arenas that I get a point that I was trying to do a completionist run, and one of the combat arenas just never spawned the enemies it needed to and allowed me to keep going through. And I was very pissed about that. And I'm probably never going to go back and do it. But
yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, that's mean.
What did you think of the writing? What happened in Doom? What happened in Doom Eternal?
Not good. The story is not good. The codex
writing in Doom is actually pretty good for what it is.
Doom 1 is pretty good, yeah. No, it felt like it was like big. Whatever was happening was they were trying to like scale it up 100 times from the first game. Yeah, super gore nests and just city-sized enemies, and but yeah, I stopped reading the codex less than halfway through the game. Was just not interested. The only thing I really used it for was whenever I'd run into an enemy that I hadn't seen in a while, and I was like, I don't remember how to beat these. Yeah. And I'd go into my codex to find out.
So all in all, pretty positive on Doom Eternal.
Yeah, it's probably my game of the year right now, which is not to say much about the games that have come out.
I'm trying to think what has come out. It might be
Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing.
We'd have to have a real long talk about which game do I like playing the least. Definitely Final Fantasy. I don't know. We'd have to have a real long. That's a game of the year discussion that I can't even begin to approach right now.
Come on, the story is good. The story is good.
The story's very good. Yeah, no, there's a lot of good stuff in Final. That's what I'm saying. It'd be a very tight, very tough fight.
It's the anti-Doom.
The Last of Us is coming out, but you know how that turns out. Apparently,
I don't know if there's any apparently about it. Unfortunately. Naughty Dog I was like, oh yeah, well maybe only apparently I know. Then I was like, no. They put their hand on my shoulder and they're like, no. you know.
In the article, they specifically said,
why would you say that to me, Mr. Dog? Nate, Mr. N Dog.
Nate Dog.
Wait, Nathan Drake.
Yeah, that's blew my mind. Doom Eternal.
Yes.
Anything else you want to?
I was really quick on the 5th season of Apex. Played that new character a little bit. She seems really, really neat. She has literally the Sombra from Overwatch thing where you can throw a ball quite a far distance and up cliffs and stuff, and then teleport to the ball. Her ultimate, we were kind of figuring out how it worked, the kind of loot collector thing,
Yeah.
and it's really neat because you throw it down, it'll put a huge radius around the map, usually like the size of an entire combat. And
The entire
you can
the
come
size
up
of an entire what? Sorry, the call is
like a
glitchy on
combat
us.
area, like Skull Town,
Okay, yeah.
or the air base, like one of the kind of themed areas that you'll fight. Um, and then wherever she is, she puts kind of like a white diamond by her, which is her quote unquote shop,
Hmm.
her black market shop. And then you go up to the diamond just like it's a loot box sitting on the ground or something, and you open it up, and it is just shoot basically all the loot in that area. And then you can pick 2
Oh.
items from the store, and it'll just suck them from wherever they are and bring them to you.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and you're all kind of in there at the same time, so everyone's just kind of looking through all the stuff and be like, "Oh, there's a level 3 stock over here. I need one of those." And oh, some shotgun ammo. I need some of that. And yeah, everyone gets 2 things to pick per ultimate use. It's actually a really neat idea.
Yeah, that unique, very unique compared to some of those other abilities.
Yeah, especially when people are fighting. Like sometimes you'll be kind of edge of a combat area, and there'll be like 3 teams all fighting, and they're dying and everything. And as they're dying, you're kind of just sucking up the loot that's falling, and then once you have all the loot, then you can go in and fuck them.
I sort of, until you said it right there, I didn't even really think that player loot also gets included in that.
Yeah, it's everything.
That's so like somebody could kill, so you could not even be involved in a combat. Somebody could take somebody else down, and then you could just like yoink 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 yoink. I'm gonna take all of the good. I'm gonna take the shield. I don't even remember how to play Apex.
Yeah,
I'm
if
gonna
you're
take
that girl, yeah,
the
you or any of your
legendaries
teammates. And actually,
interesting.
just like most of the abilities in Overwatch or in Apex, other players can use it if they find it. So if you
Oh, they
leave
can
that
go to the shop too.
yeah, if you because you just kind of leave the shop there,
Yeah.
it's all it goes away, and then you only have your uses, and then you leave, and if someone else finds it, they can use it to take their 2 items. So
Weird. That's cool. That's very cool.
yeah, that's all I have though. Other than that, there is obviously a PVE component of this that we can't access until we get 5 treasure chests, and we get once a day. So we're working our way towards whatever the fuck that is.
And then does it use your 5 chests, and then that's like you can only do it once every?
I think no. I think it's more of a you need a certain amount of chests to access it, but you keep those chests, and then once you have more chests, then you can access different stuff. It's
Oh,
like a level almost.
I gotcha. Any other games there?
That's
We
it.
do some news real fast here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Where to start? Let's talk about Ghost of Tsushima real fast. We had an 18-minute gameplay trailer, real gameplay, unlike Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Tell me all about this game. This game looks fucking insane.
Yeah, it's. I still don't know how it plays after watching this. I don't know. There's a definite. It looks like parrying or dodging to kind of open enemies up, almost like Sekiro or Fallen Order. But there's also like a bunch of meters on screen, and I really don't have a sense of how the combat goes. They showed it's open world. You are riding a horse named Nobu. At least this horse was named Nobu around. These like very green and pink Japanese villages. You know, the cherry blossoms are always blowing in the wind, and those like big, I don't know if they're maple leaves or whatever, those like big red maple leaf looking leaves that are always blowing by.
Oh, maple leaf.
Maple leaf, Japanese maple leaf. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to like talk about this game without comparing it just to a bunch of other games, but
I think that was the idea though, right? Like I don't know if this is something I just made up in my head, but is not who made this game? Sucker Punch.
Yep.
No, that's wrong.
No,
Yeah?
that's right. Yeah,
Nope.
Sucker Punch.
That's right.
Did they not have some sort of pedigree that had to do with Tenchu at a certain point? I don't know. Oh, but like yeah, like
They did Infamous.
Yeah.
It does look a lot like Tenchu. I know that much.
and
they did
then
Sly Cooper.
again, like I feel like I'm making this up in my head, but like I feel like when Tenchu happened, and then a bunch of them went to go on to make like the Sekiro game or and games of those ilk, and then they just
Are
kind of
you
came together
what is
to
this?
make this game.
Is this real, or are you just like Tenchu is a game about ninjas and Japanese
Buddy.
stuff, and Sekiro is a game about
Buddy,
Japanese
this
stuff?
is-
So obviously, this person worked on both games, and then they came and made the only person who makes games about Japanese stuff came and made
This is all-
Ghost of Tsushima.
This is all the headcanon that's going through my head as I'm fucking grinding away on this fucking
None of
lathe.
this. Yeah. I don't think any of that's true. I think
just hope-
zero of
just
what
hope-
you just said.
Just hoping it doesn't blow up in my face.
It is Sucker Punch. It looks a lot like
That's all I
Tenchu.
got right.
A lot like Tenchu. That part's right. It looks open world like a Witcher type of. You're I got 5 yew wood and I got 4 iron, and looks like you're collecting things in the environment to, I would assume, maybe upgrade weapons or something. It very much has kind of the Breath of the Wild thing where like you're gonna see stuff on the map and you got to go over there to explore what it is. There's kind of a wind instead of a breadcrumb trail. You have a wind mechanic that you're following. You can challenge enemies to a standoff.
Like
There was
Pocahontas.
just like Pocahontas, yeah, with the big maple leaves, man. Is what I'm talking. Those big leaves. You can challenge enemies to a standoff, which is like, so this person went up to a camp where I think in almost again, I cannot help but compare this to other video games in like a Far Cry style thing. It was like clear the shipping yard.
I don't think there's anything wrong with comparing a video game that we haven't played yet to other video games.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure, but I mean, if you,
Like, especially for the
if-
sake of describing
well,
video.
it's bad podcasting, right? It's we are capable of being more eloquent, and if our audience hasn't played the exact thing we're referencing, then we might as well be saying nothing. We could
I just
be
don't know
better.
how else you.
I know.
I don't know how else you say this stuff.
I know. That's what I'm really struggling with. That's how we get better. We struggle.
I have a thought on that subject.
On
Podcast does it and talks about how they shouldn't, because
Yeah.
there's no better way to do it.
yeah, we could be better.
Eh.
We could be better than them. That's better than everyone, and we
There
will
you go.
be. You challenge the enemy to a standoff, which is like I don't know. He went up to clear this. It was a shipping yard, I think, and enemies noticed them, and it said, "Press this button to stand off." And he did
Sort
that
of
thing,
like a samurai showdown.
just like a samurai showdown. Did that thing where they all like size each other up, and then the enemy moves, and he was doing like he was either parrying or dodging, but he would take a maneuver, and the enemy would go whoa, fly over and go shing, and this big like slash appears on the screen, and then they get cut in half or whatever. But did that a bunch of times where like 3 enemies approached, and it was always this weird like Dragon Ball like Honor. It was this weird one-on-one battle thing they kept doing. So I don't know if there's. It seems like there is open combat where in certain parts they pulled out a bow and killed somebody at range far away. There is stealth gameplay. There is ghost gameplay, which is seen as dishonorable in ancient Japan. That uses stealth and like fear as weapons, where some of these enemies were just running away. It's kind of like a Batman moment where like this ghost is like stepping over the wall, and one dude just like drops his spear and starts crawling away, which is kind of cool.
It's the bat.
It's the ghost. There's a stealth detection meter, a little bar that fills up, little half circle on the top where you're stealthing behind enemies. It looks almost like every open world RPG / action shooter game you've ever played, but the best parts of those it maybe looks like. We'll see. It very much seems like it has like outposts, destroy a shipping yard, go here, clear all the enemies, and then you get a cutscene of him throwing the torch over his shoulder, and it goes when the shipping yard destroyed. So I kind of get the sense you'll maybe be kind of clearing off a map.
I'm up to that tower and have
Yeah,
your bird
climb.
fly
Or
around.
like Just Cause.
Just Cause, yeah. They have full Japanese VO, which is kind of cool if you want to do it all in Japanese. And they also have a samurai cinema mode, which makes it black and white, like old samurai movies, but it also makes it extra fucking windy, which I really like. Super windy. There's always, and they even bring it up. They're like, samurai mode makes
Leaves
it black
are
and white
blowing,
and extra
hair's
windy.
blowing.
Yep. So yeah, hair,
your
wind,
fucking
leaves.
Kimono is blowing.
And
That's
it has
kind
like a
of
little
a
bit
dumb thing that
bone
I would
grain
play a
to it.
video game twice to experience both.
Yeah, I hope you can. So they said the way they talked about it, they're like, you can do it right from the start, which kind of made me think maybe you have to do it in this mode. Maybe that wind affects something in a way that you're either playing Samurai Cinema mode or not, which I hope is not the case, because I would like to just, pop that on for an hour or whatever and be like, wow, this is, huh, and then, turn it off. But I'm really not too sure there.
They
I feel like that's the
hope
thing that I feel like that's the thing that they sort of like put like the technology into, right? Because from what I've seen of it, there's like trees and leaves and fucking grass that it's blowing, and like
Yeah.
yeah, like if you just dial that wind up a little and then just have these things just fluttering in the wind, like yeah, that's showing off your game kind of thing.
Just
What were
fucking
you
turn the
saying?
stage fans to 10.
Yeah.
hopefully they do it like how Dragon Quest did it with their 3D mode and then the classic mode where they had the kind of top-down 8-bit view, and they have it where you can swap in between either one while you're playing the game, but it does not affect where you're at in the story like whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like literally
Everything
just
is
a visual treatment.
Yeah, it's all just about the visual. So, and especially with Dragon Quest, if they can pull it off with that game the way that they did, I'm sure that this game can have a fucking black and white and extra windy filter, and
I
it
would
shouldn't
hope
make
so.
much of a difference. Yeah, otherwise it would be very bizarre if they didn't allow you to do that. Like if you started playing the game and you're like, I'm going to start this on black and white. I want to experience the game this way. And you're like, well, this isn't really doing it for me. You had to start over again. That'd be pretty stupid. They should just be able to make you flip it.
I'm sure they'll warn you if you do. Be like, hey, by the way, you sure you want to do this? Which is my least favorite thing ever in games that are super precious about their modes.
Yeah, even still, that's even with a warning. Something like that it's been done. Like Dragon Quest has proven that it can be done in like a fairly massive extreme.
Look at the Halo anniversary thing. That is like an incredible
right?
visual treatment.
Yeah, like it can be done. So there's yeah, unless the extra wind and the black and white actually like affects the gameplay in some way, I can't see any reason why they wouldn't just let you flip back and forth. It'd be ridiculous not to.
Yeah, it looks cool. It looks like a video game. It runs at 4K 60 apparently on that video, which I would assume is on a Pro, but looks real nice.
Does it like is it going to be one of these like straddle, like generation straddling video games where it's also going to be released on the PlayStation 5?
Almost certainly. Almost certainly.
So
it's not. Well, it's. I think this is a worldwide studio. Did you guys see the new PlayStation Marvel logo? Their new PlayStation thing, which is literally, the Marvel logo comes in and it says the word Marvel, and then on the different faces they have different, like, oh, here's Iron Man, and on this the front of the M is Black Widow,
like
whatever.
Nathan Drake and
it
might even be Spider-Man,
I think.
It's extra weird.
But yeah, it shows like a bunch of Kratos on a face, like is the Marvel logo, but what if it was PlayStation characters? In a way that, like, you better hope they're probably pretty safe bets. Like, I don't think they're gonna make a bad thing. Like, I don't think Nathan Drake is gonna fall out of favor or something. But what if they did? What if like the next God of War salts the earth for God of War or something, and then they have Kratos stuck on their? Oh man, we gotta cover that up with like Snake or someone. But yes,
like
that is
the Edward Norton Hulk on there.
Did they put the Edward Norton Hulk on one?
No, but
it'd be like if they
that's
did.
That's what it would be like. Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima out in July. It looks good. It looks like a video game. I would like to play it.
Yeah. It looks like a very good video game, actually.
I'm starting to think it might be a video game.
I'm reserving judgment until I need to have hands on that combat. It looks like it's going to be mostly combat. I hope the combat is very fun. I hope the combat is the exact picture of what I think is very fun.
I mean, it could either be like really good, like Sekiro, or like kind of like cartoony and not very good, right?
But that's not. Or there's other ways to make good. Yeah, there might be a way to have not Sekiro combat and still do that very well.
Because like the main takeaway I got from Sekiro was like, fuck, this is a good combat.
Yeah. It was also fucking insanely hard combat.
It's true.
There's lots of ways to make good, not insanely hard content. Combat that doesn't make me sad, but also is clearly very good.
We can make it scalable. What if we did that? What if we didn't have just 2 difficulties in our video games? Final Fantasy? What if we didn't have
Sekiro
a
only had
normal
one.
and easy? Yeah, yeah, that
It's all just easy and shitty, or
Game of the
like
year.
it's easy and easy,
Game
and
of the
it's
year.
just like
Normal is not
you
easy
either
on Final Fantasy.
is
Normal
it
is
not good?
fucking
Is it
hard.
not?
No. There's a
Oh.
part in the game where the boss just murders you indefinitely, and you can't figure out why, and you just turn it to easy. Fuck this.
It's Sephiroth. Fucking
It's not Sephiroth. I was already on easy by that. Spoilers. Sephiroth might be in that game.
Fucking Turks. Fuck
he's
those Turks.
Biggest loser ever seen. They showed the real time. They showed some Unreal 5 demo, an Unreal 5 demo running in real time on the PlayStation 5. I don't know. It's a lot of triangles, man. It's a real nice looking demo. It only runs at 30 frames per second at 1440p, which is not great. It's not even 4K 30. But I guess those rocks look real nice.
In its 9-minute entirety, and I'm like, wow, yeah, that looks like that looks like a game. That looks like a fucking Uncharted game or a Tomb Raider game.
Yeah.
And I like, maybe I'm just being ignorant to it, but I'm like, I don't really understand what the difference is. Like, maybe the lighting is good. Like I honestly don't really understand the difference of it. And maybe this is old man Oliver.
This is old man Oliver.
The same Oliver that doesn't really understand video games anymore. But I'm like, that looks fucking awesome.
It does look very good.
Is that not what I saw in the last Uncharted game? Which is like
a couple
years old
yes,
already?
that is. It is slightly higher fidelity than the last Uncharted game. It definitely looks better. Like if you were to look at those two games side by side, or this game and this demo that is optimized just to run on the PS5, you'd be like, ooh, that is quite a noticeable difference. And like the
all
big
video games right now look either really good or don't run right. Those are the two. There's only the two kinds.
The big takeaway was like swinging the lights around in real time and being able to compute all that in a way that is usually super taxing. Again, it's not ray tracing, but it's kind of their sort of half step to it. Where you're right, it was just a technical demo. They also had a part where she has to fucking squeeze sideways through a thing as though they're hiding a load on these consoles that they have gotten out, and the only thing we really know about them is they're not gonna have load times apparently because of these SSDs.
Okay, devil's advocate.
Okay.
I still want you to have to slide between things in video games sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, just
I don't
break it up and just slow it down.
That's something that people have to do when they're raiding tombs and shit.
Right.
Yeah. There's narrow passages and shit.
But in this demo,
you don't have to hide loads back there.
In this demo, fucking where there's no loading, and Sony got out there and was like, it wasn't to hide a load. We just wanted to show the rocks really close up. Like, what? How tone deaf do you have to be that you don't think this fucking the hide the load animation we've had for the last 7 years? Yeah.
Yeah. Because I honestly actually believe them when they say that.
Oh, so do I.
I honestly actually believe that they're probably like, well, it's you want to show how cool, like how he like knows where to put his hand when the part comes out where you would consciously put your hand. To support yourself or something. Like I get that. Yeah.
Apparently that's a thing.
But I've seen Nathan Drake do that like in the last 5 games or 4 games.
Right, but it used to have to pay somebody like 2,000 hours of labor to stand there and however you do it, animate him to every time it does it. Apparently Unreal just does it. Like a lot of the stuff was just tech demo where they're like, oh, this handout stuff, this is just the engine doing it. We didn't program any of this in. We just put our model in. Look at this. She automatically moves her hands and her feet, and it looks really natural. And like a lot of it was for devs, but
Unreal Engine.
Okay, and that's fair if that's what it's doing like by itself kind of thing. But like,
what if every game could have that now? I mean, the promise is every game in Unreal 5 should have this now.
The thing is, like, all the games that I do play, like, they all have that, like the Uncharted's and the Horizons and stuff. But I mean,
you're the only person in the universe.
This is me saying like, all right, like this is shit that I've seen already, and like fuck yeah, like the what did they say that one statue had like 1 billion trillion fucking triangles.
So many triangles.
Like, straight from like Photoshop or Adobe whatever, and like and then all of a sudden she goes into a chamber where there's hundreds of them. I'm like, that sounds super impressive. That absolutely sounds super impressive, and man, like yes, like. The Chad Emons of the world, and shout out to Chad Emons. Like, yeah, there's a lot of work that goes out.
Chad doesn't like me because I don't like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and that makes me not okay with Chad sometimes.
there's a lot of people that do a lot of work, and maybe yes, like all these triangles means a lot of things to a lot of people. Like, but I'm like, yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah. Well, they even
Fuck
tell you in
yeah,
that video,
good for
they're
you
like,
guys.
usually this would take this many hours to render it, blah, blah, to bake it in or whatever.
Mhm.
No baking required. Here, look, it's just in it goes. Here's this statue in the
Mhm.
game. Here's 1,000,000 of these statues in the game. Very much, it was intended for developers.
And
but
that
you can
yeah,
still
that
look at
probably
those
means
rocks
a lot of
and be like,
things
oh, this is nice.
to a lot of people. But yeah, like, yeah, these games look fucking good, and they continue to look good.
Yeah, they
And
continue to look better
like Brando
somehow.
said, yeah, and like Brando said, like they're games that look really good, and they're games that run really shitty. So if you can get both of those into your game, sure. Like, how's Control look nowadays? Have they patched that game? Because I hear that game's fucking really good, but I hear it runs really
Oh.
shitty.
Yeah, no, it still doesn't run well.
Oh man,
It
Runs
probably
really
runs
well.
better, but it still
Runs
doesn't
really
run
well
well.
on PC now. They have like fancy new
Yeah.
ray tracing in it. And it is stunning on PC. Whew.
yeah, and maybe that's what what we're gonna get at in this next generation is like, have your cake and eat it too.
Yes.
Have your nice looking game,
Nice.
and also
That's-
make it run well.
That's the promise, but when they put this thing out running at 30 frames a second, 1440p, I start to wonder if, like, are we just going to give up on 1080p 60? Is that just like, we're going to skip that and go right to 1440p at 30 frames a second? Because I just give us 60 frames a second, you know?
So, what
Can
it,
you
like honestly, what does that mean? That means it's a higher resolution, but
It's more
it's
pixels.
lower. It's
Lower
lower
frame
frame rate though, right?
That's right. And
And so
the average
I know
person
that,
can
like-
probably not. Staring at a 1080p and a 1440p, I would have to look for a really long time, and honestly could probably not reliably tell you which one was higher fidelity.
yeah,
30
yeah,
frames versus 60
neither could
frames,
I.
you can see it like that. You notice it at a fucking, even like 60 frames unconsistently, you can notice.
That's the smoothness of how of what you're seeing, right?
Yeah. And when the frame rate drops, that's
is-
when you start to get that like screen tearing where it's like chunk, 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 chunk,
Yeah,
chunking
yeah.
sideways.
Hmm.
The next gen, it's almost upon us. Andy?
It's absolutely
He's gone.
upon us.
You
Oh,
lost
shit,
him.
is he? I don't have my thing open. All right, Andy, I'll take your story here. Banger of a story by Andy. Super Mario. Nope. Fucked it up. Paper Mario's coming out.
You can't take that one.
Sorry, I'll read it. I'll read it as written. It says
I don't know.
Andy
You
here.
can't take that story. That's the only thing he cares about.
Well, he's not here.
Just throw to another story. We got like 15 of them.
All right, we don't need to read all of these. Respawn says they're not working on new Titanfall. Remember they used to be back in 2019. They
That's
said they're
a
working on a premium
Fucking
Titanfall
shame.
experience. And they made Fallen Order, which sold very well, and very likely, well, Titanfall got pushed initially. Whatever this premium Titanfall thing was got pushed so they could work on Fallen Order. And that sold very well, and they realized that a lot more people are probably willing to buy a Star Wars game than a Titanfall game, even though that is maybe not the right attitude to have, because Titanfall's fucking dope.
They were the team
they're not working on it.
They were the team working on Apex, aren't they? Weren't
Yeah,
they?
that's out of Respawn, yeah.
So
all
is
one and the
that
same.
another factor of like stopping another Titanfall? Because that's fucking
Apex
unfortunate.
is a Titanfall game. Kind of. It is in the Titanfall universe. That was when Apex came out, and because remember, there's Apex, which is the non-premium Titanfall experience, and then there's the premium Titanfall experience, which people thought was going to be a numbered sequel, maybe. But whatever it was, has been pushed. For now. Never say. Nobody's ever really gone.
Titan's never made it to Apex yet, eh?
Not yet.
Like it's gonna be the last
God.
hero, and I think
Just a
he's gonna be
Titan?
unbeatable.
That'd be dope.
And I think that's how the game ends. Is they just some heroes have Titans and no one, and the Titans take over, and the whole thing's a prequel for Titanfall.
Having a hero whose ultimate is calling a Titan, if you could make that work, would be fucking cool.
But you're
There you
not
go.
wrong. Yeah, he
Let's
just left
go.
again.
Take us through your stories, Brando. What do you got down here for us?
Okay, I got some stories. Tony Hawk. You've heard of him. The Hawk, the Birdman. 1 and 2 are being remastered, coming this summer.
Did you watch the video?
I've watched a video.
Yeah. Probably
Jim, it's the video.
the trailer where they
Yeah,
show the
it looks fantastic.
yeah, it is a like from the ground up full remaster. It is not the same game at all. It doesn't look, well, probably the same game, but completely remade from the ground up.
Yes, this is being done by Vicarious Visions. They
Woo!
have done the portable versions of Pro Skater. So recently did Crash Bandicoot Remastered Trilogy, which are the two halves of the pie that you need to be able to make this game, is the remaster side of the pie and the Tony Hawk side of the pie.
Hell yes.
Thus, this game is guaranteed success.
And that Crash Bandicoot remaster trilogy, I think, was pretty good. Pretty well done.
Yes. Yes, it's probably led to this. And the Spyro one was really good too. They didn't do that one though. This game's going to have updated visuals, which we talked about.
Mhm.
The original levels, original skaters, the original tricks. It's going to have more challenges, a more in-depth create a park, which is going to have some online sharing capability, and it's going to have online multiplayer, which could be really neat. But I have no idea how they're doing it. I hope it's just the local multiplayer from the games that you can now play online, where it's like, let's play horse or whatever the fuck the horse equivalent in Skate is. Is it called Skate? It might be called Skate. I'm not sure.
You're definitely
Anyway, do a trick. If I can do the trick, I get a letter. Or you get a letter. That thing. Got the vast majority of the soundtrack on lock, which is good because a lot of those songs are really old.
Goldfinger's one of those things they threw right up there.
And what I thought was good was it's not going to be like a like 1 and 2 kind of pop in and out of whichever one you want, like two separate boot ups. They said it's going to be very much a cohesive kind of design with unlockables feeding into each other and everything. They're going to be kind of smooshed together.
Yeah,
one
new game called Tony Hawk 1 A&D 2.
Yes.
And it makes you think that maybe some like 3 DLC or like more Tony Hawk could somehow be plugged into this package in a way, where it is this new
and
game.
Speaking of 3, this is probably one of the biggest parts of this, is they are putting the revert in. The revert came around in Tony Hawk 3. The revert was not in Tony Hawk 1 or 2. So if you're going into this thinking like, well, I wonder if I can beat my scores from Tony Hawk 1 or 2, it doesn't count because now you can do a revert.
What is, for the uninitiated in skateboarding, what is a revert?
Yes. A revert is where, thank you for asking, a revert is where you kind of switch what side of the board is leading while and you can use it to chain together combos. So used to be like in a tight half pipe, you could only ever get your score and then you'd come down the half pipe, and as soon as your 4 wheels touch the ground, unless you manualed, you couldn't chain that into another jump. But with the revert, you can kind of do a quick like switch, and that'll keep your combo going up on the other side of the pipe. And you can do that to like just connect things that are a little bit more than an ollie apart, where you can
keep
jump off a rail, hit the ground for enough time to do a revert, jump off the ground onto another rail, keep the combo going. So there's a big add in 3. It was kind of the only big add in 3, and now it's in 1 and 2. Seems like their heads in the right place. The things that I want to be in that game are in that game. That said, we'll see if I actually even play that game, because it is still a remaster of a game that I don't know if I need to play again. But looking at it, it seems like they're doing it very well.
Did Tony Hawk leak this in a text to somebody? Am I making this up? I'm trying to figure out how this got announced.
I don't know. That sounds like something he would do.
Yeah,
he probably wasn't even an accident, probably. Tony Hawk is always struggling in a way that I'm not begging him for to stay relevant.
He's relevant in our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe I'm making this up. I can't find anything. What else you got for us?
You know what else Vicarious Vision worked on? Destiny 2.
The PC port? The PC port, right?
I don't know. That's as far as my knowledge goes.
All right.
It was enough knowledge that I acquired for a segue.
All right, great. Speaking of Destiny 2
is going to have a new version of itself for next gen consoles. It is not just going to be the Xbox One version backwards compatible. They are doing the work to update the graphics and everything, which I think is the most newsworthy part of the story, that we're probably not getting a Destiny 3 for a very, very long time.
It's a free to play. It's free to play now.
Yes.
I wonder if that means no Destiny 3 for a long time, or because this game exists on PC, where presumably it runs at very high fidelity. I wonder if the new next gen version is here's the PC version with the settings turned a little bit up.
Could be.
Or maybe there will never be a Destiny 3, and like this Tony Hawk thing, we will just start plugging. We're just gonna have platforms now. We have the Destiny platform. We're just gonna buy a $40 thing, and boop, there it goes. Who knows?
What I need, and I think Andy's the same way, is a break, like a clean break.
Yeah,
where
somewhere to
I can
restart
be
and
like,
get back in.
Yes.
I'm right
yes,
there with you.
to kind of re-understand from the very beginning what the hell is going on in Destiny.
Destiny, hear me out. Destiny 3, new classes. Let's fucking let's shake this thing up. We don't got to do Hunter, whatever they are, Warlock, Hammer guy. We don't got to do that anymore.
Titan.
So, yes, yeah.
Titan, thank you.
Ball man and hammer guy.
For me, it was like, fuck. We just got so lost in like what it was that you were supposed to fucking do. Like I got to the point where I was like, well, there's that one raid with the expansion on 2. Like, and I love the raids. I was like, I want to fucking do this raid, but I literally don't understand what direction I need to take to level myself up to do this raid. The people that are hardcore about this game are like asses if you aren't at the level that you need to be in order to do this stuff. And to achieve these things, the grind is just so substantial. Like, it seems like they brought
MMO
so
life,
much of the
brother.
grind back. I know, but it just, yeah, and that's fair. That's probably just the way it is. But yeah, I felt like with at least even like the first Destiny and up till the was it the Taken King expansion with the second Destiny? Up till that point, I still at least
Taken
felt
King
like
was first.
oh, okay, Shadow. What was it? The Shadow Depths
I
or
can't
something
remember what it
into?
was. Shadowkeep, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. Anyways, the raid for that one I wanted to do. And I get that it's a grind, but I didn't even understand what I had to grind. That was my problem with it. I was like, I don't even fucking know
I
where to
didn't even know
start. Like,
which
at least,
number was the level.
yeah, like it. Whereas before it was like, okay, here's what I have to do. I can make the decision whether or not I want to sink those hours into it, but at least I know what I have to do.
Yeah.
Whereas that, it just got to the point where I was like, I fucking don't even know where to start. Like, this is just, I feel like I'm going to sink hours into something that is not related to the thing I want to achieve.
I'd be very into a clean break.
Yeah.
And
But the people still playing are not going to be up for that, so
fuck them. Bungie will at some point decide to wring another $80 out of everyone and release a new full game, probably.
Yeah, hopefully.
Take us through your news story here, Andy. We're running a little long, but luckily these are short.
Yeah, well, I can only do one news story. That's I picked one for Brando because he didn't think he was going to be able to find one, and then he got mad at me. So,
I'm not reading a
Fortnite
story
thing.
about simps.
now I have to read it.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't going to do it. Now I gotta fucking do it. So Twitch is cracking down on simp emotes. There's been a few high-end streamers and also lower-end ones that have been creating their own emotes based off of the simp phrase.
Internet.
Based off of the simp phrase. And I guess that Twitch has deleted at least 15 different streamers' versions of the word used in an emote due to the fact that they consider it to be harassment. And then when Twitch was asked if why they have a problem with the word simp, they simply stated that our community guidelines prohibit harassment, and as a part of this, we deny emotes that are designed to abuse or demean others or can be misused for such behavior. So that was their response to simp.
It's rare to see Twitch actually give a fuck about it. Somebody very high profile must have got offended because Twitch truly does not give two fucking shits about any of this. I wonder what happened that made them crack down on this, but they should do this a lot more.
It seems like a very weird one to lead the charge on it, though, because I think a lot of people are like, "Huh? What's?"
I don't even know what that means. I honestly don't know what that means.
Yeah, so what simp is it's a word to describe somebody who will bend over backwards for a girl or their girlfriend. So, especially in the gaming world, and I mean, we have somebody who plays with us a lot.
They just connect
whenever they're like,
I see.
Yeah, so whenever they're like, hey guys, I gotta hop off. I'm gonna go watch some Netflix with the lady. It's like simp. It's it's because they're putting them on a pedestal. It's when you put a woman on a pedestal above everything else. Essentially, it makes you a simp. Back in the day, I don't fully
At the
understand the
farm.
context.
That's right.
No, not at the farm. At the farm we used.
When Jeremiah Rent says it.
Out in the back country, there were different words that were used that cannot be said on any sort of public media these days. But I guess apparently simp used to mean what the opposite of a pimp was. So whatever that means. But
used to? I mean, if you really look up the etymology of the word, it literally is short for simpleton. You really want to go back.
Yeah, that as well too. But I guess that is one of the, before it became what it is now, that was its previous meaning. So
British.
Yeah, so
British slang.
I don't care. I think it's funny, and I call people it all the time within our friend group. I guess I could see it as being harassment if it's against people that you don't really know. But it just seems like a really weird.
You want to hear some synonyms?
Yes.
Of what?
All right, I'll hit you some obvious ones: dipstick, doofus, fool, git, lunatic, mooncalf, ninny hammer, yo-yo.
None of those are supposed to be synonyms of simp.
Yeah. Ding dong.
They don't
Cuckoo.
mean
Seems
what
like
simp means, so.
Ding-a-ling.
This seems like if simp was short for simpleton, perhaps that is the simp we're referring to here.
And you're being a real mooncalf.
But simp in the context
today.
that it's evolved to in 2020 is, I don't think any of those words
being
mean
a real
the same
mooncalf.
thing.
Dullard.
I don't know.
We're calling each other Dullard is our new. We call people Dullards. That is a hell of an insult.
I do like Dullard. That's pretty
good.
You
are Dullards.
Make the emotes.
All right, let's get a band.
There is an alternate meaning that you guys have not.
Remember, you're on a podcast. Remember, this is live streamed.
I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you. If you go to the subreddit Simp, it's to denote a body part that looks like Homer Simpson's mouth.
Oh, short for Simpsons.
That's all I'm gonna say. But you guys,
you need to be invited to this community.
Look that up yourselves.
No, it says you must be invited to this community. If you have to message the moderators in this community have it set to private. You must be a moderator approved to message mods. Oliver, you at some point message the moderators. We're like, yo, I got some thoughts about a body part that let me tell you something.
Let's not casually overlook the fact that Oliver might be the moderator.
Oh shit. Okay, don't plug your subreddit here, sir, please. All right. r/talking records.
Oh shit, that's weird.
Maybe
weird. It's gone
Oops.
now.
Oops, I outed myself.
Uh-oh.
Tell me about Fortnite, Andy.
Now I'm gonna look.
So, Fortnite. One second, I gotta scroll up to her. Fortnite coming to. This is one that is of no surprise, but it's coming to Xbox Series X and PS5 at launch. It's going to be migrated over to Unreal Engine 5. Crossplay going to be allowed on current and next gen platforms.
That's dope.
And that's smart. Good on them for that. And your account will most certainly carry over if you want to move to the new console.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of these stories over the next few weeks and months.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
A lot of games.
And I see you even threw in there, like, what other games are you thinking that's going to be moved over? Apex, one of the other big ones.
But Apex, also built
absolutely
in,
not.
Oh, Apex is not Unreal. Never mind. Apex is like Source.
No.
Is that all the news?
They'll find a way. I think that's it. Yeah.
I think it's all the news. Paper Mario's coming out. What's the date?
All right. Yeah, I wanted to. That's July. I think 14th.
I can't believe you fucking forgot that story. After I didn't let Maddie say that story when you were gone.
I didn't. Actually, I didn't know that. I wasn't going to do it because Matt told me not to do it. So I'm freaking jacked for that new Paper Mario game. That is that's going to be dope. The one thing with it that
tyranny.
I'm just those last two were just abysmal. So I'm just hoping this one looks so cool. Visually, it's gorgeous. The premise is cool. I don't know why I'm a coward all of a sudden, but.
July the 17th, I think, comes out. I didn't say you couldn't do it. I just said this game is coming out on July 17th. It's not a news story. That's a sentence you say. That's not something we discuss.
As I was in the middle of researching it and finding things to discuss, you bursted my bubble. And not bursted. I meant to say burst my bubble.
Professional bubble burster.
Bursted my bubble. I had things.
Lots of triangles in the graphics of Mario and the Origami King.
So many
Mhm.
triangles.
More triangles than that demo thing you were talking about.
Hard to believe, but
Yeah,
yes,
whatever
there
the
were,
fuck that was.
there were more than. It does look very cool. I like the
Yeah.
original Paper Mario quite a bit, and that was the only one I ever played.
You never
Oh,
played
the second one's
1,000 Year
good. If you
Door?
like the first one, you'd like the
Yeah.
second one.
I keep trying to
Fuck,
play
that-
Thousand Year Door and getting up to that dragon and beating him, and then for some reason I just fall off.
Ah, that's such a good game. 1,000 Year Door might be my favorite game of all time.
Bold claim.
It's bold stance.
Yeah, it is. But
Podcast.
no,
Finish it.
that's all I have to say.
Finish
I
it,
don't-
Andy.
I
Even
don't fucking
go
remember.
so
what I
far
was
as to
gonna
say
say.
it's in my top 500.
Podcast.
That's at least him.
It's very
Good
hard with the
podcast.
delay. We have there's
I know.
almost 3 to 5 seconds of delay between us. Brandon and I counted it one day, and it is very close to 5 seconds. Sorry to cut everybody off. I know it happens a lot. Podcast.reckless.com. Podcast at talkingreckless.com is an email address. You can write in your emails. You can drop on our subreddit, r/talkingreckless. You can leave us voicemails in the voicemail channel. We can figure that out. I'm going to pull this one from. So this was the long voicemail that actually got shortened down and written out via text. This comes from Maxity, who says, after coming back to a game that you haven't touched in a year, how do you decide whether to continue off your old save file or wipe your save and re-experience the whole game? What is the line, gentlemen? You're coming back to a game. It's been about a year. Is a long time.
If you
Andy?
can,
If
figure
I
out what you're doing.
OJ can go.
It's if you can fucking figure out what you're doing, because
What about like story beats or
going back to if I were ever to go back to Death Stranding, like I know like the shoulder buttons are steadier load, but that's about it, right? Like I don't know what the fuck.
That's all you need to know.
You're gonna start.
That's
You're gonna start
all the
Death Stranding
mechanics.
over if you're gonna go back.
There's also menus upon menus that like I like what does what, and then like I have to put stuff on my my leg harnesses.
You don't think you could figure that out with a few minutes of
Put little fucking boxes on
just
there.
thinking? You just press auto
room for the back
optimize
for
and away
pizza.
you go. Yeah, unless you have a pizza pie.
I sure as shit don't want to start from the beginning of that, but like I feel like I would have to. Like there's stuff to do, right? There's stuff that I need to know going through. Like
Not like it
I
would
will
be.
tell
You would
you-
be way better served to just putz around for an hour and be like, "Oh fuck, right, that's how I do this." Than you would be to play through the first 20 hours of that
Okay,
slow
okay.
ass start.
yeah, and maybe that's fair. But I mean, like
If it's a multi-file
about-
game, then you could start a new game, and then you'd probably get the gist of it, and then you'd be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna fucking jump over back to my fucking other
and
thing."
then just
That's
go
a
back
good
to it.
idea, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How about Sekiro? Right. I have a file that's sort of a few hours in, a bunch of hours in. Like
Go back.
I could not just jump into that and be like, hey, this is how you block. Or, this is how you
No,
parry.
you go back.
After
Sekiro,
Yeah,
you go back.
yeah.
you die for
Matt,
a
don't
few
you give him bad
hours,
advice.
I don't
Don't give him
know.
bad
Die
advice. You
for
go back. You can build your build your fundamentals again. Your
Yeah.
church, your Sekiro church, needs a strong foundation for you to build on.
Needs a stone.
For me,
Yeah, and-
it is. I'm sorry. Are you still? You got more to say?
No, I'm done. I'm done. And like those are the two kind of examples. Like a game that is the thing about Death Stranding is that like I remember menus upon menus, and I'm like, I feel like I need to know what
touching
needs
your-
to happen.
Cable, Mr. Crackler,
No, why?
Doctor
is that
Crackler? Yeah, it is. Yeah, the Crackler strikes again.
Dr. Crackler, mute me.
Go.
For me, the answer is simple. If I have not played a game for a year and coming back to it, I'm starting at the beginning.
I'm
10 times out of 10.
probably a year. I'm probably the same way. Yeah, unless I'm totally the same way. I either
Yeah.
stopped playing for a reason and I'm never gonna replay that game, or something just happened. I fell off, and I'll get back to it and play the first part again. What about you, Andy?
Andy?
So, when I come back to a game, I'm not building up for anything big. I have nothing much to say. I will not restart the game. Never going to happen.
Never?
I'll hop back in. Oh, fuck no.
Like
I will
halfway
hop into.
through. What's a story game? Breath
He
of the
was an
Wild.
hour and a half away from being done Ori, and he fucking came back to it 3 years after the fact.
And you
Yeah,
you
see, that's
started
it.
Ori over? Was the story the
Well,
story?
no,
He-
he's the
Oh,
opposite.
I just hopped in and
Oh,
finished
yeah,
it.
you're
I
right,
fuck,
you're
I
right,
putzed around and figured everything out, and I
Yeah.
got back into it, and I
Yeah.
fucking owned that shit.
Had that backwards in my
I
head.
will pick it up, and I will try to play it again. And if I can't figure it out, then that's it. Goodbye. See you later. I ain't fucking starting over again. Because, like you said, if I stop playing it, probably didn't like it.
Yeah.
And if I decide to come back to it, then if I have a reason to, and I mean, like, Ori is one of those situations where I will go back to it and finish it up because I genuinely did like that game. I think I just got distracted by something else and then just never went back to it for a bit. But yeah, like if I don't finish it, I'll fire it up, give it a shot. If I can figure it out and it grabs me again, then I'll finish it up. But if it's not grabbing me when I hop back in there, I have no desire to go back to the beginning. So
Very good.
I've never played a game so big, like any like big open world games or any really complex games that you would kind of have to go back to the beginning to start again, so you can relearn all the systems. If I've fallen off those games, I've never had a desire to go back to them. So
Yeah. That's fair enough. A good level-headed field of takes out here. I think we'll save this other email for next week. We're, as I say, running a little long. Zach wrote in, though. We'll get to that next week. Podcast at talkingreckless.com is that email address. You can write in your thoughts, whatever you got. Takes of your own, maybe anything. I read them all. I don't always respond
Like 'em ice
to all of them.
cold.
We like them ice cold. Ice cold and bad, please. Cold, bad takes.
Yeah.
The kind I give
Even
or the kind I
inaccurate.
like to receive.
Yes.
I think that's all I got to say. Yeah, we'll wrap this up. We have a join us on the Discord. Don't forget to vote on our movie night for this month. We have a movie night goal where we're gonna watch 2 of these films. Let me see what's leading right now. It's looking pretty much like it's gonna be. So it's a 3-way tie. We don't know how it's gonna go yet. But Hot Fuzz, Sonic the Hedgehog, and
yeah,
Detective Pikachu are kind of our 3 front runners. I'm thinking I might crunch the vote down to just those 3 at some point, and we'll get it down to a 2.
Those are 3 very good movies.
Yeah, I haven't seen Sonic. It'd be cool to watch Sonic.
Sonic's dope.
Yeah, and I really like the other 2. It'd be fun to watch any of those. But that's on the Discord for you. Just head on over to talkingreckless.com. You can find the Discord link. You can find all this shit on talkingreckless.com. Our website doesn't suck anymore. It's at best unoffensive, and at worst unoffensive. If you want to toss us a few,
In fact, unoffensive.
yeah. If you want to help keep this show on the air, help support this madness or the D&D show or the stream or any of the stuff we do, head over to patreon.com/talkingrecklesspodcast. You want to toss us a few bucks. Very much appreciate that. We do a D&D show. So funny there, Mr. Giggly Bits.
Nope. Fucking thumbs up to everything that you do, Matthew.
We do a D&D show called Rolling Reckless. Oliver's Game of the Year in me so hard on all these podcasts, and I don't know why. It's because I tried to kill him in D&D. Tune into our show and find out how. And that's all I have to say. Other than thank you very much for joining us, Andy. Thanks for being here. Thanks for a little bit of a late night.
Thanks for letting me do the Paper Mario story, Matt.
You're welcome, Andy. Hey, anything for you, buddy. Oliver? I don't even really have anything to say to you.
Subreddit are simps. Plural simps is what you're looking for.
Did you just say Matt's entire subreddit is full of simps?
No, the subreddit he was talking about earlier. Oh, okay. Oh, I see what.
Don't worry, nobody listens this far.
This is lewd. These are so heads up. These are lewd. These are not safe for work pictures.
Yeah, the body part that looks like Homer Simpson's mouth.
Is this supposed to be a penis? Like what's going on here?
I get it. Stop. Everybody stop.
Yep, stop it.
Okay.
Stop it. It is definitely NSFW. Stop
Everybody
it right now.
stop.
You shouldn't invite me to these shows anymore.
I shouldn't invite you to these shows anymore. Brandon Lynch, thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt. I'm glad we ended on this note.
Yeah, me too, I guess. Real digging deep into that Game of the Year fucking repertoire here. And to you at home, I'm sorry you had to listen to. No, thank you very much for listening to this. We'll be back here next week. Let's meet back here talking about some video games. It'll be episode 320. Only 100 away from the big 420. We'll see you then.